Welcome to the lounge, episode 12. Once again, I am Sebastian, and I am joined by Dory, James, and Mitch. This week we have only just two topics. We're just going to talk about the Mario movie, and we're going to talk about Resident Evil 4 Remake. Alright, so let's just start with the Mario movie. To start, I didn't have high expectations for it because I don't like that studio very much. I haven't really liked any of their movies. I don't like the Minion movies or anything like that. So
They don't have a good track record.
Not at all.
Making good movies.
No, they don't.
No. Did they make the Emoji Movie too?
No,
That was Sony.
It feels like they did, but they didn't.
Yeah,
It feels
I
like
will
they
say
did, though. The first Despicable Me movie, it's decent kids film.
I feel like
I
that's
like
a
the
great
first
film.
one.
From great. Yeah. First one's good, but then after that, like once they started to get into once they really discovered that, hey, we can sell the shit out of the Minions, and Despicable Me, like 2 and 3 came out, then it just went, ooh, and then they crashed.
Yeah. So
They crashed.
So I was pleasantly surprised at how good this movie was. I mean, it's not like an Oscar-winning movie. It's not like the best movie I ever watched, but it was a really fun movie. Like it was like I can understand why critics didn't like it as much, but like if you're like a Mario fan, like it was phenomenal. Like it had so many references and Easter eggs, and it really stayed true to all the characters, like literally all the characters.
I'd say it'd be pretty uncontroversial to say that it was the best Illumination movie that they've ever put out.
Or if not the best movie, at least the best looking movie. Like because this movie was like gorgeous.
Oh, 100%.
The animation was just like Nintendo did. I'm sure Nintendo was like breathing down their neck to stay true to the characters, and I think they did a wonderful job with the animation.
Yeah, the animation is definitely the best thing about it.
100%. You could it barely felt like at times that it was an Illumination movie. Like I think maybe like when it was, towards the beginning of the movie before they went into the Mushroom Kingdom and all that stuff, like you could kind of get the vibes from that, but like once they actually got into like the actual, main plot of the movie, and they got into the Mushroom Kingdom, and we saw is it the Firelands or whatever they called it, the volcano lands?
It was like
lava lands. That's it.
I think it was. Didn't they call it like Darkland? I think it was like Darkland or something.
Darklands, yeah, that's it.
Darklands.
So Jersey.
Evil McEvil lands.
Yeah, so once Luigi got into Jersey and Mario got into the Mushroom Kingdom, it was perfectly fine.
Jersey.
No, it looked great.
Yeah, no, the thing is, right, because obviously going into it, there was a huge disparity between what the critics thought of it and what the audience thought of it. Like if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, the scores are awful for the critics and just sky high for the audience. I don't know what you guys are laughing at.
The way you say tomatoes is.
I don't even say it like that.
All right,
even Mitch doesn't say it like that.
Tomato.
Literally.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue, James.
Anyway, the point is, it's such a huge difference. And after I got out of the theater seeing it, it was just so obvious why. It made so much sense.
Yeah.
Because the last thing the film is boring. Like it's an entertaining ride all the way through, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's only an hour and a half long, but at the same time, there's absolutely no depth to the script. Like it's just every single decision in the story feels like it's there to move the plot along. Every decision the characters make feels like it's not backed up by any kind of character. It's not set up character development or anything like that. It's to move the story forward because there is no character development. There's no depth to any of the characters.
I don't think it needed it.
I
don't think this movie really.
No,
needed that.
I mean, I'd half disagree. Like, I wouldn't call it depth per se, but there's definitely heart behind the script. Like, especially when it comes to Mario and Luigi. Like it's not groundbreaking, sure, but it's like, just their relationship and scenes with there's a flashback scene between of just Mario and Luigi when they're baby Mario and Luigi, that I don't know if it was just the mood I was in that day, but like it affected me. You know, I'm like I don't want to say like not started to tear up, but like like he got generally emotional and swept up in it, and like I felt it. But like I mean I feel like anyone with brothers can understand that. Just that bond or type of vibe that they were going for with Mario and Luigi in the film. Again, far from groundbreaking. I wouldn't say it like had much depth to it, but it was simple and it had like some passion and just genuine heart behind it. So like I'd say like that aspect of the movie is all it really needed. I'd say like I wouldn't be looking like I don't think if they like sort of went into the psychology of Mario, or Mario no last name, like I don't think
Mario
that'd really be, yeah, I don't think that'd really be what, I'd be looking for in the movie. It's just like you've got Mario and Luigi, they're brothers, they care about each other, they have a bond, and like that's what's driving them throughout the entire movie.
Not only that, but they're down
need.
And they're down on their luck, and
exactly. I get it. It doesn't need to be Apocalypse Now, okay? Like it's not. That's not what it is. But at the same time, it's like
yeah.
I understand like what audiences are looking for from it is just entertainment, which is fine. But like I understand why the critics don't like it.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
like I think any good movie should have a certain amount of things to chew on after you've finished watching it.
Like I saw a take recently on Twitter, which was basically amounting to like a meme of like people are like, oh, well, people don't like Mario. Or I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm not going to, but people don't like Mario because it's not a philosophical treatise or whatever. And I just feel like that's like such a bad faith. I know it's Twitter, but it's such a bad faith like look at like what people are criticizing. Like if there's no depth to the characters, like it's okay to admit this is just a cash grab movie, but I mean like when you get down to it, most movies are cash grabs anyway.
Everything's made with money in mind, so I don't I never care for that.
Yeah. Right. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I think the difference is though, like the thing that really like the reason it stood out to me so much in this film is because like if you look at the Fast and Furious, right, as an example, because that's the biggest blockbuster cash grab franchise I can think of at the moment.
Oh Christ! Yeah. I mean, besides Marvel, of course. But...
Right, but like even Dominic Toretto has like ideals and like a moral code and like a personality, right? But in this movie. And I know you guys are talking about the brotherhood and everything, but it really feels like every decision Mario makes is to move the plot forward. It really doesn't feel like there's much personality to him or any of the characters. To me, anyway.
No, I definitely agree with that. Like, I think, I mean, I think the best example of it. How in depth do we want to go with the movie? Like, do we want to go kind of without spoilers or?
I don't know.
We can do spoiler warning. We can do spoiler warning. It depends on if Dory cares or not.
I do not.
All right. Well,
and I mean, as we said, yeah, there's not really much to spoil. I will say, like the best example of what James was just talking about is that the first time Mario meets Peach, it's probably about like 1-2 minutes max where like they're talking and like they kind of address the you're a human thing, or like you're an actual human, and like I'm a queen, and everyone else is mushroom people, and then basically it's just like Mario's like, hey, I gotta save my brother Luigi, and Princess Peach is just like, okay, come with me, and then they like just go right into like another like little set piece montage. I
think it's so funny.
I need a hero.
Mitch, that you said that Mario and Luigi, when they go into Jersey and then go into the Mushroom Kingdom, I couldn't tell if you were being sarcastic or not. So I was like, wait, do they really go into Jersey or not? And I think you're being serious if they go into Jersey.
No, he just means the Darklands.
No. The Darklands is Jersey.
Oh, Darklands. Oh, well, of course, yeah. It smells like shit there.
Well,
sorry, Jersey.
That is the other thing. Is like
I apologize.
They come from. They come from
to all
Brooklyn.
people who watch this in Jersey.
And it's like this is the third video game movie adaptation that I've seen where the protagonists are from the real world and or from other planet or whatever, and they get transported into this fish out of water story. They do the exact same thing in Sonic, although inverted,
and in the original Mario movie.
And they do the exact same thing in Monster Hunter as well.
Yeah, they do.
And
oh shit,
I'm getting really kind of tired of it, to be honest, because it feels like such lazy writing. It feels like such a lazy story. It feels like what it feels like is it feels like they have a template for these movies, and they're just perfecting them. They're just using this template for all the video game adaptations.
I wouldn't call it lazy, but I understand what you're saying. I mean, because Mario is a plumber and from Brooklyn, so that's always been his character. It's just that the games never address that he's from the real world, really, because there's no lore to Mario. I mean, I don't. The story doesn't really matter to me, like in the Mario games, because really at the end of the day, every Mario game is him saving Peach from Bowser. So like I didn't expect this movie. Was this movie really gonna have a story? I mean, it's only an hour and a half, really.
I was honestly surprised
that didn't bother me. I think
the
pacing was practically perfect. That like I didn't even care.
Yeah, the pacing was great.
I didn't really care about the story. I mean, I really liked Bowser's like because Bowser's always wanted to marry Peach in all the games. So because Nintendo like was like demanding that they stay true to the character, and Bowser was very spot on. Like to me, Bowser was the best part of the movie. I mean, Jack Black was just absolutely phenomenal as Bowser.
Yeah,
like he
apart
was.
From the song.
I even like the song. I really like the song.
Oh god.
It's
I can't get it out of my head either, James. I'm sorry.
I watched eligible.
Peaches.
I watched a show on Thursday where they were talking about the movie, and someone, or like basically a podcast, but one of them brought up the idea that, like with the amount of depth and stuff that is in the movie, whether it's possible that Nintendo being Nintendo and how kind of protective they are over the IP and sort of how it's done and how it gets perceived by the public, whether or not they kind of stopped Illumination from going too in depth, so to speak, with Mario's with all the characters in there, I doubt it, knowing Illumination is Illumination, but it's possible that some of the script treatments had this idea for further backstory with Mario and Luigi, or further backstory like sort of character ideas and depth for everyone, and then Nintendo went, no, it's not like the source material. Don't go for it. Don't touch the characters in case people perceive it wrongly. I don't know if that's the truth. I doubt it, but it is an interesting thing that if the sort of lack of depth and everything that we were just talking about is a Nintendo problem or a symptom of Nintendo,
I don't know, but
rather
what
than
could you
Illumination.
but what could you possibly do with Mario's character to develop it more? I mean, like, what is Mario's character besides the guy, the plumber that jumps on things?
Well, this is the thing. It's like
what else is there? What else is there to Mario?
I think the script is bad, but I also sympathize with the fact that this is another Sonic situation where you're making a movie out of these characters simply because of the bankability of the IP.
It's almost like they shouldn't have made a fucking Mario movie because there's nothing to make a movie about.
Exactly, yeah.
They should.
That's fine though. It's just a fun popcorn movie. What is this supposed to be?
I understand that. I'm just saying that's why there's no depth to this. I mean,
I think both arguments are right.
I wouldn't say there's no depth. It's just very straightforward. It's a very straightforward movie. It goes from point A to point B. But I would say there's no depth. I mean, the brother thing and Bowser has Bowser's you can understand why he's doing what he's doing, and
but I don't I don't think characters having understandable motives is necessarily deep characters.
But I didn't say they're deep. I just think it's a non-issue. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's deep.
No, I understand. Yeah,
it's not The Last of Us.
I think you're right. I mean, I don't think it needs it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just saying I think both arguments are correct. One thing I do like about it is the decision, and it feels almost like something they had to do, otherwise they'd have been crucified. But I like the decision to have Luigi be the one that needs to be saved instead of Peach, and have Peach be a very capable character.
Oh, she's
who can
phenomenal. I
look
love
after
her.
herself.
I love that she was like a warrior.
Yeah.
But no, as the other side was saying, boss girl. Like, there were people criticizing that she was too much like a feminist icon. I was like, what are you talking about? She's just. I mean, it makes more sense that she's capable.
They made Mario woke.
Yeah, they made Mario woke.
Yeah.
And then I saw yesterday that like now the movie's anti woke because it made money.
Exactly.
Money. Whatever. Anyway, Peach. It makes sense that Peach is capable because she grew up in the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario just got there, so it wouldn't make any sense that Mario is like this phenomenal jumper, like can do all these crazy obstacle courses, and then she's useless. Like, you know what I mean? It just made a lot of sense for her. Like, I love that she like when Bowser invaded her kingdom. She just stood up there, like she had no army. She just stood there, like that.
Yeah,
like, that's
exactly.
a great moment, because the damsel distress trope is it just doesn't work really in 2023.
Yeah,
so
it not only is it severely overplayed, but yeah, it doesn't work or translate well, and doesn't make for interesting characters. Like again, we were just talking about how the script doesn't have much depth and stuff, but it's like it at least tries to do interesting things with the characters at a surface level.
Yeah, I guess Although my one issue with doing that, making Luigi the damsel in distress, is that like Luigi just didn't really get proper screen time.
Much screen time.
And
get anything to do with.
Yeah, so he just kind of felt like a comic relief for like 30 seconds he was on the screen.
Which is fine, because I think Charlie Day is rubbish casting for that.
Oh, I thought he was good. I thought he was good. Like, not only did I like him, I liked him so much that I want a sequel movie with. I want a Luigi's Mansion.
Just Luigi.
There's
Charlie Day.
Yeah,
we've ragged. Everyone has ragged.
Just Charlie Day.
Everyone's ragged on Chris Pratt, the Chris Pratt casting,
which was so overblown. I thought
the thing is, the reason I think Chris Pratt works, and none of them are going to win Oscars for this, and that's probably down to the script as much as it is because the script doesn't give their performances much room. But Chris Pratt is not the worst. Like, it is not bad casting for this, and Anya Taylor-Joy is pretty good casting as well. The bad casting, in my opinion,
great casting.
The bad casting is Charlie Day as Luigi and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, because their voices are too recognizable. That's just the simple.
I liked Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. It just like seemed to fit. I don't know. Donkey Kong doesn't really talk.
It's so ridiculous that it fit.
Yeah,
it's like this is just Seth Rogen as it's Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. All I'm hearing is Seth Rogen, but
even when he laughs,
I love it. Yeah,
but just to move the conversation forward as well. Like, I love the world building. I love that like the Donkey Kong, like the gorilla like kingdom is in the same world as the Mushroom Kingdom. I like that like it had kind of like a world build, and not in a way where like it took like 20 minutes to like set up. Like, it just got right to it, and I liked. Because it really opens the door to like future Nintendo properties having a movie. Like, this movie, is the highest grossing animated film at launch already. So, this movie's
it's already past 500 million, which is like I think, considering current box office records and how that's going, is wild. Like I think it's easily the highest grossing movie in a long time.
Which opens the door to the fact that like. I'd imagine we're gonna get a Zelda movie at some point, or maybe a Metroid movie too, and it's like those characters don't talk, so it's gonna be a huge controversy when they like we hear their voice and stuff, and I know it's gonna be like the Chris Pratt stuff where everybody was like flipping out. But like
Seb, I can't believe you ignore that Metroid Other M exists.
Yeah, we don't. I don't care about Other M. Like most Metroid fans.
I really want.
But everyone loved that game.
I really want them to just do the meme and make us like build up to a Smash Bros. And just rip off Avengers and just make a Smash Bros. Movie.
That's all we want, though. That's really all people want.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need.
Fuck with that.
I told you, like, there's different types of movies. I don't. Just give me a nonsense hour and a half of just Smash Brothers characters smashing each other. Just battling each other for 90 minutes. That's all I need. I don't need depth.
Yeah.
I don't need a carrot. Just give me the Master Hand. A giant hand comes from the sky and takes over the earth, and they all fight. Like.
I'm just trying to imagine like a Smash Bros movie where it's like, you know, they have like the end of the second act and like, you know, the characters all suffer a great loss, and like I'm just imagining, you know, like one of the core cast dying, like Donkey Kong dying, and it's like they have all the sad music and trying to pretend that like, you know, the characters, there are actual stakes to the movie.
Subspace Emissary from Brawl would make a fucking awesome movie. I would see that movie.
Yeah, because those cutscenes are awesome, but. I'm picturing like if they make another Nintendo movie, I'm picturing like the end, like a post-credit scene where like they're all talking, and then like, you know, like the ending of Mortal Kombat, like Shao Kahn like appears in the sky as a cloud, and they all like get in a fight position, like, you know, it's a sequel coming.
All right,
that's what I would do. Like do like a Marvel thing where it's just like Master Hand just shows up randomly in a Zelda movie. Like it has nothing to do with the plot, but like all of a sudden Master Hand just. Like they're just setting up the Avengers of Nintendo.
I'll do you one better, Seb. Master Chief shows up specifically
because that's what Smash Bros.
Pablo
is.
Schreiber. Pablo Schreiber.
Microsoft
the TV show.
Yeah, Microsoft puts Master Chief in Nintendo movies to get the rights to Activision. So like, look what we're doing. Exactly. We're working together.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
It's like poetry.
This is what we want.
It rhymes.
This is what the people want.
Yeah. But
nice.
Just to get back to the movie though, like this one example I wanted to bring up, right, of like the characterization and the script and everything, is the ending, because I want to talk about the ending a little bit.
I had issues with the climax personally, but go ahead.
So there's that bit right at the end where Mario gets shoved into the diner or whatever, and he's hiding behind something.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he decides he's too scared to fight Bowser.
Yeah.
And my problem with this is it's at the very end an attempt to kind of introduce some character stakes, some like to Mario. It's like, okay, he's scared, he doesn't want to fight, he needs to build motivation. But the problem is it comes out of nowhere, because every single scene before that for the entire movie, when there's been a fight, he's been right in there. Like there's been no build up to this.
Yeah.
I
had issues. I had issues with the climax, because I thought it was silly that like they went to Brooklyn, like, and just like like it was, and the whole climax was like 7 minutes, like 5 minutes, like it literally ended like. Bowser just gets his ass kicked and it's over. It's like, okay.
In all honesty, I was kind of glad the climax was so short, because like at that point of the like I know we just said that like the pacing was perfect and all that, but like by that point of the movie, I was really starting to go like, okay, let's wrap things up. I'm starting to get tired here.
Oh, I didn't feel I didn't feel that, but I was just like James said, I didn't like the whole sequence when Mario was like hiding, and then it's like, and then he just and all of a sudden
to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, go ahead.
To play devil's advocate here, I can see what they were trying to go for, potentially, where it's like, you know, Mario's like, you know, because like back in the Mushroom Kingdom, it's like he's just his own person, you know, like he doesn't have the expectations and everything of everyone kind of weighing down on him and like everyone looking at him and knowing who he is. So he, you know, it's kind of like the, I was going to say, it's kind of like the Shazam thing, you know, where it's like, as a kid he acts a certain way, but then as an adult he's like, you know, fuck all you, I'm gonna act silly and wild and all that shit. But then like, so basically once he gets to Brooklyn, I can imagine the writers going, okay, you know, like he's in his home turf now, and he's, you know, everyone's sort of looking at him, watching and waiting for him to do something, but he's like, you know, now that it's gotten real, you know, like it's literally on his home turf, so to speak. I can see if that's what they were going for. I still don't really think it was kind of amazingly well handled. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, like you can really only get that interpretation out of it if you really go searching. Because if you're not looking for it, then it's just not there. And I do think like the way the TV glitch was like, okay, come on, you know, where it's like save, Brooklyn, and just, you know, repeat it, and then it's much. Like, okay, little much. Well,
but like, I'll play devil's advocate now.
Okay.
I'll play devil's advocate now. It fucking rips that they use the bullet bill as like a missile.
Yeah.
You know how it went up in the air and then it came down. It's like we're launching the missiles now, and it's a bullet bill. That was cool.
And I mean, we're going a bit earlier in the movie now, but I fucking love the way that they handle the blue shell in the Mario Kart segment, where it's just basically just like one of the Mario or Bowser's minions just basically going full kamikaze suicide bomber and just
I
like,
that
blue
whole
shell.
the whole Rainbow Roads like scene was the best part of the movie. Like that was like the animation was so
By
crisp.
far.
The action was so much
By
fun.
far.
That was literally the best
It's
part.
just-
That was worth the money right there.
Honestly, like seeing like the moment we saw it at the end of like one of the first trailers was like really the moment that I was sold on the movie, because like, you know, like, because at that point I'm just like, okay, you know, like they're going fairly bog standard. They're just gonna have him, you know, like running around the Mushroom Kingdom for a bit, maybe fight Bowser. But then like when you saw the Mario Kart and you saw like all the tiny little references, like even just in the few shots that we got in that trailer alone, you're like, oh, they're really going into it, you know, like they actually, because like, I mean, there was easily a version of this movie where it's just, you know, like, oh, Mario has to, you know, overcome a bunch of obstacles going from point A to point B, you know, like literal obstacles, you know, like just jumping over a few plants and pipes and stuff. I mean, it definitely would have made for a worse movie, but like, you know, they could have done that. There's a version of the Mario movie somewhere in the multiverse where that happened. But then it's like, no, we got a version of the Mario movie where they had Mario Kart and they had the Kong Lands Kingdom, whatever the fuck they call it. You know, it's like they tried, you know, like there was so many references. So many.
That's the thing. There was too many
And-
references, right? Because that feeds back into
I don't agree with that.
No, there is, because the thing is, it gets to a point where the whole movie exists for references, and every decision is about getting to the next reference. They forced Donkey Kong into this film, like the whole bit about Mario needing to fight Donkey Kong and everything. That was like just all designed around the fact that we need a way to introduce Donkey Kong into the story.
I don't have
You
a
know,
problem with that though, because it had
No.
it had a reasoning for it. I mean, the army helped Peach fight Bowser, and they got captured.
That's a rubbish story though. It's
I mean, yeah.
It's-
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. I'm not saying it's like Citizen Kane, but it's
and
fine.
then I don't the Rainbow Road bit as well. It was like the dialogue in some places is like
Oh.
there's the bit
What are they-
where Mario and Peach are just riding along talking, and then Seth Rogen pulls up beside them and he's like, "Are you flirting?" And it just ruins the whole fucking thing.
I think
I
you're.
laughed at that bit. It was so dumb, but I laughed at it. It's.
I do think. I do think you tend to be more detail oriented than me. I like if I am like big picture. If I have like a good pacing and I'm happy, like I'm fine with the movie. You know what I mean? I don't notice like the little dialogue things like as much. Not that it's a problem,
If I'm
but I just don't
like if
it doesn't bother
I'm
me.
entertained and yeah, like then that's the big
I do wanna-
picture thing.
we gotta-
I do want to point out like
Go ahead.
one little thing that I did like very little in the wedding scene when the bomb guy with the mustache, what do you call him again?
King Bomb Bomb.
When King Bomb Bomb
Ba-bomb.
sits,
Bomb
when,
Bomb.
Oh, right.
when
Bomb
King
Bomb.
Bomb sits down, and then like the shell goes off and it just starts going.
Yep.
He's just
between
chilling.
him and his-
Yeah, and then the poor guy. He was just
And then
chilling.
he just kind of stops it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's the thing though. It's like small little details. I'd argue that they don't take anything away from the experience. Like, I mean, sure, like you know, some references are more overt than others, but it's like I don't ever feel like what's a good example? Like it never gets into Emoji Movie or Wreck-It Ralph 2 territory where
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it feels like they're overtly taking time away from the plot. to
Yeah.
just say, "Oh, look,
Yeah.
like, you know, oh look, here's all these Marvel characters, or oh look, here's all these
Yeah.
classic Disney princesses." It's like it's like it's consistently keeping that pace of moving forwards.
Like it's not
And
like
it's like it's
yeah.
throwing in fun references, and it's like in a way, like, and I think part of it is also just seeing it within the context of like an actual movie or like an actual world. Like actual game mechanics, like the Mario Kart thing where you have like the different sliders for the carts and the wheels and what kind of like glider thing you want. Like seeing that just contextualized within a movie world is just fun and interesting to see.
Yeah,
That's, like I feel like that's
yeah.
the big picture appeal of
Yeah, because I don't think this movie did like the Star Wars.
movie.
I don't think this movie did like the Star Wars thing where it's like, oh, everybody look, it's C-3PO and R2-D2, everybody clap. Like,
Yeah.
like, you know, like if you watch The Force Awakens, it's like the whole half the movie is like, oh, it's Han Solo, everybody clap.
Everybody clap.
Oh, it's the Millennium Falcon. Oh, they always pause for like 5
It's-
seconds for you can cheer.
It
It doesn't do that.
like as much as I love like Marvel movies like No Way Home and whatnot,
Yeah.
it is kind of like awkward, especially now, just seeing like, you know, the moment where like Andrew Garfield enters and it's like you can tell that's like they just intentionally paused all the dialogue in the scene for like just to allow time.
I think that's the
people to
one.
get
I think
on the
I think it's
audience.
that's my one exception, though. I don't. Sometimes I don't mind that. Like in that movie, I was
No.
cool, I was cool with that. But
I
get
saw
what
a
you're
tweet
saying.
about it, and it's like, just
I get what you're
imagine like that scene happening with absolutely nobody in a room, and there just be dead silence.
I've got to be honest. Like I feel like everybody notices that stuff except for me. I've never noticed that before I saw that headline about
So that's so funny because I agree with Seb. You're very detail oriented. So I'd expect you to first to like be in the back, like throwing tomatoes at the screen, being like, "Boo, this."
Boo this man.
But so I want to start wrapping it up because it's been about half an hour. So I want to say the best part of the movie to me is not even the movie itself. Is like I love seeing all the reactions of kids in the movie theater. I think this movie is going to be viewed as a classic for a lot of children growing up. I think this movie is going to be one of those movies they're going to watch forever. And I really like it, maybe for us because we're like older and we're more critical and obviously we're adults. Like I think this movie is going to be viewed as like an animated classic for like the future, like the generation right now. You know what I mean, like all my students watched this movie and loved it. And we're talking about it. You know what I mean? So seeing these kids, I saw videos like of like parents filming their kids like watching the movie, and they're all like biggest smiles on their face and everything. So I think that's what the movie was really made for. So overall, I'm very happy like this movie was made just because like Mario is such an iconic and lovable character for a lot of people. So I was really happy.
Are you telling me that Illumination, the studio behind Minions, made a movie directed towards children? I don't believe you.
Yeah.
But they made one that's also very, very accessible and very enjoyable to. I don't want to say all adults, but like, you know, like at least anyone who even remotely has, you know, an experience with Mario,
which is literally everybody. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, it's a pretty low bar to reach. I will say that like this definitely feels like one of those movies that like in a decade or two time, you know, like the kids of this generation like, as adults now are gonna like reminisce over how they just had this movie on repeat at home as a kid.
Yeah.
So what you're saying?
We all have those movies. We all have those movies.
Yeah.
What you're saying is Illumination has single-handedly eliminated an entire generation of potential filmmakers.
No.
Because kids are going to grow up with this as the benchmark for cinema.
The Oscars have been damaged forever. Irreparably.
Children should only watch Citizen Kane.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest here, and I mean, yeah, it probably helps that this is like a very, very well established and very loved IP, but this is probably the most interested I've been out of like a children's movie or a children's animated movie in years.
Yeah.
Because like I love Disney, I love Pixar, but just so many of their recent outputs and original IPs have not interested me in the slightest. Like the new Pixar movie that's coming out, like Elemental, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like Strange World,
I really wanted to love. I really wanted to love
like
Turning
Raya
Red.
the Last Dragon, aggressively average.
Yeah.
Like I like, and it's the thing because like I keep saying to like, you know. I keep personally saying to Disney, and they're just not listening. I mean, but whatever. It's
right.
like I keep saying it. So like, just keep going for original IPs, you know, like go for something original as opposed to just, you know, repackaging and reboxing the same franchises. Like, we don't need an Inside Out 2, we don't need a Zootopia 2, but considering just how blah some of like their original content nowadays is, I kind of feel like I am in need of a Zootopia and an Inside Out 2.
It's
you know,
fine,
which,
they're making a live
sucks
action
to say.
Moana remake, so don't worry about it.
But in terms of the animation, also like, I wish there was a game for this movie. Like this would have been a perfect like Ratchet and Clank 2016
right
game for this movie, and also it kind of saddens. It makes me sad that this could be what Mario looks like if they had like a 4K machine. You know what I mean? Like if Nintendo invested in like a better quality platform now, that like Mario, this is the animation we can expect from a first party Nintendo game.
I know this is an entirely different conversation I'm dipping my toe into here, but it's kind of the main reason why I have zero interest currently in Tears of the Kingdom. It's I know it has all these different interesting gameplay things and stuff, but it's like graphically, like if you show me just like an out of context screenshot from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I could not tell you I could not tell you which is which. Even if it was like in like one of the bigger dungeons or boss fights or something, I could not tell you the difference. And I basically, which is just to say, like, Breath of the Wild was not only was it a launch title for the Switch, but it was also on the Wii U as well. So, like, you know, it was like, it was essentially,
Mitch,
like, it was made to work on that machine, yeah?
I know exactly what you mean.
Good.
Because I've actually been thinking about the same kind of thing recently. It's like, Breath of the Wild was groundbreaking. And it feels like it's been like, we had God of War Ragnarok last year.
I was right about to say that.
And we have Zelda 2, Breath of the Wild 2 this year. It kind of feels like it's been a while since there's been a groundbreaking game.
I
know Elden Ring is a thing, but you know what I mean. It kind of feels.
I mean, even Elden Ring, Elden Ring is basically just Dark Souls 4 with open world. But
so what?
Yeah, but like, are you saying like a groundbreaking sequel and like an established IP, or just like groundbreaking games?
You mean like
in
Just a
general?
groundbreaking like game, because like
innovative? You mean?
Yeah.
Like just something, like just another Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? Another Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I mean, people would say. I mean, Elden Ring. People would say Elden Ring. I mean.
Yeah, I know, but like, it feels like we're getting a lot of these.
Yeah.
It feels like we're getting a lot of sequels to groundbreaking games at the moment, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with that personally, but I mean, this has been the year of remakes, definitely. And remasters.
I mean, like, kind of like initially I was like, oh, I'm kind of disappointed, you know, and like, you know, despite everything they are doing, like, it's like, oh, you know, it's a bit of a shame that, you know, Tears of the Kingdom isn't as innovative as Breath of the Wild was. You know, it's not like setting itself to the same benchmark of like, you know, things it has to do. But then again, like, you kind of look at just Nintendo's output for like the past couple decades, and you just realize that, you know, Nintendo have kind of just been, to a certain extent, just kind of repackaging their games and all their sequels anyways. Like, that's kind of just their go-to.
Yeah.
Like if not sequels, like, you know, like spin-offs and
I mean, I think every company does that, because you can only change things.
Oh, yeah,
much,
like,
you know.
Yeah, it's not to say it's like a Nintendo exclusive issue, and it's not necessarily to say that they're lazy, because like, I mean, even though I bounced off hard from Breath of the Wild and I have little to no interest in Tears of the Kingdom, I can still proudly say that, yeah, like, this game is gonna have a ton of depth to it. A ton of people are gonna be really big into it for months and months and months on end. You know, like it's gonna it's gonna be all over Twitter and the internet for weeks.
It's insane. I can't wait.
Like, it's like, you know, from an outside perspective, it's like, you know, I can go, oh well, you know, it doesn't interest me. It doesn't look like they're doing much with it. But like, I know that like, you know, the hardcore fan base and people who at the very least enjoyed the first game are gonna love this one.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you know, like, there's not really much I can do or complain when, you know, like, the main people who are looking forward to it are going to enjoy the hell out of it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think FOMO is such a stupid thing anyway, just because like you don't have to
Exactly.
like something everybody else is liking. Like a lot of people, I know a lot of Switch fans are excited for like Advance Wars like this month or whatever it is. Yeah, this month, and I'm just no interest in that series. But it doesn't mean like I'm not shitting on people for liking it. Like I think that's the difference is when people go after people for liking something. It's like if I don't like something, I just don't talk about it. You know what I mean? I just don't really. I don't buy it. I only talk about it like on the podcast, like Suicide Squad, like because it's a conversation. But I'm not like I'm not gonna shit on somebody because they bought it. Like Gotham Knights, like everybody was, complaining about that game, and I bought it and everything. Like, but even then, it's like if people liked it, they liked it. There's no one can tell anyone what they can and can't do.
Exactly.
But I get your point. Like but man, the fact that we're getting Star Wars and then Zelda and then Diablo and then Final Fantasy is just insane. It's like this is the most stacked summer that I can remember.
And then Suicide Squad. Oh wait, man, that was delayed to February. Yeah,
I'm so glad we got that in the podcast. God.
Not only that, but I think July.
What a.
But July,
the
game's gonna be a mess.
LOL, LMAO,
which is sad to say because I was kind of looking forward to it, especially because it's gonna be Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman. But
yeah.
So and then like July we're getting Pikmin 4, which I'm excited about, and then August is Baldur's Gate 3, and then September.
I don't know why, but when you said Pikmin 4, I was thinking about Pac-Man, and I was like, wait, fuck, when did Pac-Man 3 come out? Shit.
When did Pac-Man 2 come out?
That's right. That was Miss Pac-Man for you.
Yeah, it's Miss Pac-Man. So yeah.
Are we done talking about the Mario movie?
I think so.
Yeah, we're done with them.
All right, I know we've moved on.
I think we need to move on.
I just wanted to say one last thing about it though.
Really quick.
And that is, it's not actually my least favorite film of the year so far. I liked it. I liked it better than Bank of Dave.
The fuck is Bank of Dave?
Okay, I think we can accept that. I think that'd be pretty uncontroversial.
I have to agree with you.
But also, it is only the 15th of April, and Mario is already only the third best.
Sir, it's the 14th of April.
Okay, whatever.
It's the 15th. What are you talking about?
No, it's the 14th.
It's April, and Mario is already only the third best game movie of the year, behind Tetris and Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons was a fire movie. That movie was phenomenal.
All my D&D, I have an IRL D&D group, and they all, 4 out of 6 of them went together. They all loved it.
Yeah, that movie was so much fun. I
It's
haven't watched the
that
Tetris movie yet.
It doesn't seem to be making it that much.
I'm gonna watch the Tetris movie
I've
this
heard
weekend.
It's like
I'll watch it this weekend.
From what I've seen and heard of it, it's like very tonally or kind of it's very tonally strange, and it's not at all what I was expecting. It's like
from what I've
heard, it's like
it has a lot of humor and it has a lot of heart. That's what I've heard about it. It has a lot of humor, has a lot of heart.
Tetris is basically Argo, but it's video game Argo.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's like I was I mean, I didn't exactly know what to expect when I heard that there's a Tetris movie coming out with Taron Egerton as the lead. Like I was kind of like, this is still in the age of like the Emoji Movie, so I was just fully expecting it to just be a movie about sentient blocks trying to fall into a grid or something.
That's basically Pixels.
Yeah, exactly. But I was not expecting, I think on Apple TV, like on the genres page, it has it under thriller or something. Like I was not expecting a part legal drama, part thriller, part historical piece about Tetris.
It's great. It's really good.
Which is
I heard Air was really good too. If we're just gonna talk about
want
movies.
to check out Air at some point.
I don't know how they just fucking made a movie based on a goddamn shoe, but yeah, apparently can make a movie about anything except for Italian plumbers, obviously.
I mean, look honestly, if it gives us more Ben Affleck with like a half Brooklyn accent, or Boston accent, I'm in for it.
If Brooklyn.
If we're talking about
my man has not seen Good Will Hunting.
If we're talking about movies, I just watched the Last Kingdom movie on Netflix, like, because that's one of my favorite shows, and it ended the series now. I'm I'm so sad to see it go, but that was a phenomenal movie. It was really, really good if you watch the show on Netflix. Great. If you like Vikings,
I
definitely
don't know
watch
if I've even heard of that.
Oh, it's like Vikings.
No.
It's really awesome. The Vikings and the Saxons.
Is that
Scream
is
6
the
was
last-
great. That's my contribution to this. Scream 6 was great.
Evil Dead Rise comes out at the end of the week, or I mean next week for you
Imagine
guys.
just
I'm looking
having
forward
like your
to that.
featured presentation with all of us just fucking talking over it. It's just like,
Yeah.
and your featured presentation, and Mitch is like, yeah, I guess Evil Dead Rising is out, and I'm like, yeah, Scream 6 is pretty good.
All right, so let's.
Evil Dead Rises. Oh, sorry, I won't get into it.
Yeah,
we want to talk about.
We got to move on to
other things.
Yeah, we got to move
We
on
can
to
talk about other Evil Dead that are
All right.
rising.
So what I was gonna say earlier about
Oh.
Zelda is I think innovation it can be very overrated in gaming because I think sometimes
Agreed.
people obsess too much with it. It's like, oh, we have to innovate. We always gotta change the wheel, and it's
That
like
so bothered me when people were talking about Kenna Bridges Spirits and they were like, oh, this game's unoriginal. I'm like, that is like literally like the bottom of the list of issues with this game. And I know a lot of those issues got patched later, but it's like that was like the bottom of the issues with Kenna. As much as I liked that game and still thought it was good.
right because we're already in
Yeah.
April and I have a very strong top 6 already, like very strong.
Yeah.
And most of them are remakes or remasters, and there's nothing wrong with remakes and remasters when they're quality. Dead Space remake, quality. Metroid Prime remastered, quality. And then Resident Evil 4 remake, quality. The Resident Evil 4 remake, to me, is my game of the year as of right now. I mean, Final Fantasy 16
same.
looks like a banger, and it might be my game of the year by the end of the year. I don't know. But as of right now, Resident Evil 4 is my game of the year. And not only is it my game of the year, I think it's probably the best remake that Capcom has done to this point. I mean, Resident Evil 2 was my game of the year in 2019, but that was also because Sekiro didn't click with me as much as other people. So like Resident Evil 2 remake was like, maybe by default because I don't remember 2019 being like this mind-blowing year for me as much as like 2020.
Resident Evil.
Either way,
Resident Evil 2
game.
was my game of the year in 2019, right up until Death Stranding came out in November. That was the one game that surpassed it for me. And it was like, we're talking about like 9.5 out of 10 versus a 9.5 out of 10 here for both of those games. Two equally phenomenal games in their own right.
I mean, that's my that's like my top 6 right now. Like Dead Space remake was like on the same level as Resident Evil 4 remake almost. Like I think Resident Evil 4 was better, but it's like I just think it's so annoying when people bitch about like, oh, 2023 is nothing but remasters, remakes. Like, have you guys played these games? Because they're phenomenal games. I mean, they're just quality.
I think what we're learning from this conversation is that none of you have played Fire Emblem Three Houses.
It's my favorite Switch game outside Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, was that a 2019 game or was that a 2023
that was
game?
my game of the year in 2019.
Three House.
Right.
If I remember correctly, Three Houses was in my top 3, but I don't think I made a top 10 list back then. So I didn't do.
Did we all have different game of the year?
That was
2019.
We weren't together.
Dory?
In 2019.
I don't remember my game of the year in 2019.
Okay. We did the pod. We started podcasting in 2020, so we didn't do 2019. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely was gaming. So I don't know what. Oh, 2019. Fuck! It was Kingdom Hearts 3. What the fuck am I saying? Obviously, it was Kingdom Hearts 3.
Was that 2019?
That was 2019, right? No, that was 2019.
That was like Kingdom Hearts 3 is 2019. It came out the same month as Resident Evil 2. The same month. Like literally, they were like literally a week apart. I was like,
it was January 25th.
Yeah, right. I remember that because I was like, how am I gonna play Resident Evil 2 remake and Kingdom Hearts 3? I was like, fuck.
Yeah. No, it was Kingdom Hearts 3. Absolutely. I put almost 400 hours in Kingdom Hearts 3. There couldn't be any other answer.
Yeah, I remember that. And I
just subconsciously assumed that this came out in like 2017 or something. Has it been that long? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's been
4
4 years.
Fun fact: we all had different games of the year in 2019, and none of them was Sekiro.
Yeah.
As
it doesn't click at me.
Should be.
I don't like fast-paced. I don't like fast-paced Souls games. I like the Dark Souls ones where you can take your time and you can play defense.
I am the exact opposite, but I respect that.
Yeah.
And I don't like Souls games at all.
But
And Except unless it's like a Souls Light or Souls Like with Jedi and all that.
No,
but I don't even know if you count that.
Dory might kill me, but I don't think Kingdom Hearts 3 was even in my top 10. I don't know.
Yeah, I am gonna kill you. Where are your assassination coordinates so I can know from Elon Musk? Thank you.
Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm not in the. Like,
I've been thinking that joke a lot lately. I don't know why.
I'm not in the Kingdom Hearts 3 camp. I'm not in that camp where it's like disappointing or anything. It's just I don't remember, like I just didn't live up to like 2 for me. It's just
that's fair. That's fair.
2 is on a high pedestal.
I think once Kingdom Hearts 3 got that critical patch and it also got the DLC, but this is another conversation. Yeah, they fixed it a lot. This is another conversation.
But not to go on a tangent, but the point is overall that it's been a great year and we've had a lot of remakes. And Resident Evil 4 remake is just a really quality game. And I'll let Dory go first because she sat through the whole Mario conversation. So.
Yes.
I'll let you.
So now y'all get to sit through me. Okay, so number 1, I love Resident Evil 4. I played it on PS2, played it on GameCube.
Greatest game ever made.
I played it on Wii. It's one of the greatest games ever made. Of course, it's not Kingdom Hearts 2, I'm afraid, Seb. So your answer is incorrect. But this remake is possibly one of my favorite games of all time. It is definitely in top 5 contention, if not top 3 contention. I already plan on speedrunning it. I have to absolutely adore a game to actually want to speedrun it because doing it over and over and over again. I have beaten it like 6 or 7 times. I have even considered S+ing, which I would almost never consider on any other Resident Evil game. I love this game to death. It is a 5 out of 5 for me, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to say. It's not perfect. Of course, as we always say, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 does not mean the game is perfect. But I don't think they could have done much better than they did. I think the pacing is pretty much perfect. I think they cut out some stuff. I think they overcorrected in a couple of spots, but it doesn't super bother me. Like a couple puzzles where I was like, oh, okay. Like the Ashley puzzle that you do when you're running from the Knights went from incredibly tedious and difficult to incredibly laughably easy. I love this game a lot. I've beaten it. I think my best time right now is 2:56, 2 hours 56 minutes. And so I've absolutely been loving it. I've gotten the hand cannon, the infinite rocket launcher. I just got the Chicago typewriter when I S-ranked professional. I will tell everybody, I know a lot of people have already done multiple playthroughs and stuff, like listening to the podcast. Please do not go from standard to professional, because don't be like me and waste 4 hours of your goddamn life on Krauser, or buy a rocket launcher, obviously. But don't waste 4 of your goddamn hours on Krauser on professional without an infinite rocket launcher or a hand cannon. That fight is brutal. Sadler to a lesser extent, but that Krauser fight drove me insane and almost just fucking destroyed me.
I almost forgot to tell you, Dory. I highly recommend just going for, like, on your next playthrough, just going for a walkthrough guide on how to get all the like Castellan statues, because the knife it gets you,
the primal knife,
the primal knife, completely overpowered. I mean, like, it's like it's infinite durability. How could you go wrong with that?
It's like the original RE4 knife, if I remember correctly, or similar to. And so
I'm pretty sure it's like like based on the same.
I think on my next because when I'm going to be speedrunning RE4 make, I'll be speedrunning assisted, because it's doing anything else. And I'll be doing the infinite rocket launcher. So I want to see how low I can get it. If I can get it sub 2, that would be incredible. I don't think I'll be able to do that. I think one of the records out there right now is like 142 or something, but that's with glitches, and I'm not doing glitches. Not because like I don't judge people based on that or whatever. Obviously, that's a silly thing to judge people on. But I personally don't really enjoy doing glitches. I don't like learning them. I just like learning strats and stuff like that. That's just my personal preference. I think it's awesome for people. The big glitch in this game, and I think this was in other games too, is you can do a little flick of the analog stick with. So you basically look through a scope of your sniper rifle. You flick the analog stick, or your keyboard or whatever. And you can phase right through doors. Not phase through them, but you kind of like glitch through them. And you can do this in a few different areas to skip certain sections. It's not a huge time gain, but it definitely gets you a minute here, a minute there.
No, it's huge. It's definitely huge in the section where you can skip the Iron Maiden, where like that's a huge skip.
Yes,
you skip like 10 minutes.
So yeah, a lot of some of it is definitely a bigger skip in terms of the ones you have to fight. I will say too, for those people who are struggling with like Garradors, the double Garrador room and stuff like that, flash grenades are always your friend. There's a cool little trick I learned where if you shoot the Las Plaga and it starts like moving around, if you time it right and throw a flash grenade like real quick, you can just insta kill them. It's incredible.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I was gonna say
it's tricky. It's tricky, so you might not. It took me a couple tries. So
if we're talking about like all the different specialized runs we're doing at the moment, I'm in the middle of my 4th playthrough, like chapter 6 of my chapter 7 of my 4th playthrough. Yeah. I mean like first time was just normal. Second time was on hardcore, trying to go for like all the collectibles and stuff. Yes. Which fun fact, on my second run in like the castle, trying to get all the colors, I missed exactly one treasure, which required Ashley. That completely soft locked me out of the trophy. I was so fucking pissed.
Oh my! I remember when you.
So then I yeah.
You used the fucking you used a fucking egg, and then that invalidated your entire pistol run.
So the third run I did was like unassisted, and it was no healing, which is fairly easy unassisted for the most part, and just pistol, knife, like pistol and knife only, and I got to the I got to the end. I saw all the trophies pop up except for the minimalist trophy, and I'm like, well. I'm like, oh, okay, like it's glitched, or it's like, oh, it's still coming. And then like I did some it never came, so I did some research and found out that like just in like small little bracket on an article, yes, this includes throwing eggs. And I'm like, like it was for like one of the treasure side missions that the merchant gives you.
Yeah,
as
it's the one where you have to throw it at Salazar's painting.
Exactly, and I was just like, it's like a completely optional treasure. I went out of my way to do it.
I don't know if this is canon, but apparently the reason eggs are so effective against Salazar is he has an egg allergy, and so that's why the golden eggs are so effective against it. I don't know if that's like actual canon, but somebody said there was a file that you can find in the game.
Wasn't it Ramon's?
Shaking his head, but I don't know.
Wasn't it Ramon's painting?
I never heard that before.
Yeah, well, Ramon Salazar's painting. Yeah.
Oh, same guy. Sorry.
Yeah. See, this is what we were talking about at the start of the show. It's like, why would you name like two of your villains so similar, like Salazar and Sadler? Like, why?
Yeah. If it's canon, it's remake canon, because remakes are not canon to the original games. I think they're doing their own timeline.
Guys were talking about. I was like, who the hell's Salazar? Because he's always called Ramon.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, in the game they probably do that to help.
Oh, I know.
I had a really funny part.
I've never known him as Ramon. It was always.
I had a really funny part.
I mean, like we do, yeah, because we're familiar.
The later portion of the game where I was just waiting for U2 to show up, not the band. I was waiting for U3 or U2 or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they skipped that. Yeah.
And they skipped it entirely. I was waiting. I was like looking around corners. I'm like, all right, where's that fucker at? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, when are they putting me in a big fucking Shark Tank?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I swear that in one of the trailers I saw the cage. Like, I swear to God that I saw the cage in one of the trailers, and it just never showed up. Which, I mean, like for one, it was like probably like, you know, one of the like, you know, aside from like the main boss, it was probably like the main set piece from the original RE4 that I actually remember, because like I only played it once, like what, 2-3 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. So it's like, you know, like I haven't played it since. It's, you know, like it's not ingrained into my memory like you and it's like you, Dorian, especially Seb. So like, you know, I was able to go into like the game like fairly fresh, and I was surprised at just like how many locations I was like, oh, I remember that, or oh man, that looks similar. Like I think that the first area that really made me go, it's like, oh shit, I remember this, is just when you go to the castle, or not the castle, the church for the first time in like chapter 3, and like you have to go around that kind of like that wooden plank area around the side. It's like, I remember this from you know, the original. It's like it's simple stuff like that, but it's like, you know, it's like just the environments in this game are amazing. Let me just say that.
I could just
go ahead.
I believe he's called the Edge, Mitch, not the Cage. But carry on.
Is it actually called that? I'm sure there's a joke that just completely went over my head.
It is completely over my head as well.
Yeah.
Because Dory was talking about U2.
Oh,
the Edge.
Right,
I was thinking about Adam Copeland from WWE. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, my first thought was
WWE.
WWE my first thought was like Edge from wrestling. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. I was like, how does Adam Copeland fit into this?
But
surprise. James WWE reference.
I was in a
I wouldn't think so.
I was in a constant state of like comparing everything because I know that Resident Evil 4 like literally the back of my hand. Like I know everything about that game, and it was like 90% pretty much the same. Like I mean, it was pretty. I knew every location was pretty much the same. Even the map was like very similar. But I really loved the changes that they added. Like I love like when you go in the church and there's like a whole like dining room, and I loved like everything was just expanded on. It just felt like kind of like how the Last of Us HBO show was, where it was like it feels like it's expanding upon the games in a way, where like they build on the lore of the original game, and I really love that stuff.
Agreed.
Like that was one of the best parts of the game for me as well. But really where this game really shines is the gameplay. I mean, obviously gameplay is king. And I think I love the parry system, and I love the parry system because it's really it's good. Like it's not like the timing doesn't have to be amazing or anything. Because I hate when games you have to have the most perfect timing to do a parry.
Hi-Fi Rush.
It's very it's very forgiving, and it's so much fun when you pull something off. Like the things you can pull in this game. Like I just love the little details, like where Leon like does a John Wick style when he's near an enemy and things like that.
Yes.
And I mean, it's insane that he can parry like a chainsaw and everything. I never really I never parried a chainsaw.
I only did it once or twice, but it looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'll
my favorite.
I can. Oh yeah, you go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I just want to say this before I forget. My obviously big wrestling fan. My favorite physical like reaction is obviously the German suplex. Although I don't think it makes their head explode anymore, which was disappointing.
It doesn't. That's the biggest disappointment.
That's a bummer. But the German suplex is so good. I'm like, my dude has been taking lessons from Takeshita. I know no one's gonna get that reference, but that's fine. He's a wrestler. But it's so good. All the physical reactions are so the kick, the suplex, the knife reactions. I will say some of them, especially the one where Ashley is taken away, I did have some trouble every now and then actually like getting the prompt for R2, but I think it's just a matter of me lining up the camera with the Ganado that had Ashley. But that was my only like little nitpick there.
I mean, I played the game like the original, where it was like the first time I played this, like I literally did nothing but shoot the legs and do kicks. Like the entire game, I was kicking, I was shooting the legs. Like,
yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say the like when you try and go for the minimalist run, at least the first time around, because you only just have the handgun and the pistol, and especially if you have the primal knife, it really does become just a matter, like, your main strategy is just shooting them in the legs, and if you can get them just like or if you shoot them in the foot, like most often you can just get them to fall straight to the floor, and you can just kind of quickly like go in for a knife kill. Easily just the most overpowered combo in the entire game. And I'll also just quickly add, while I'm on the topic of knife and handgun only, the Garrador room is by far the hardest just set piece or hardest.
And you can't use any flash grenades or anything, right?
Through. No, you can't use any grenades. And
which
I was going
two of them.
I was going for Frugalist.
Double Garrador room.
Two of them. The double Garrador room. And like I was going for a Frugalist run as well, so I couldn't use any healing items.
Jesus,
so it's just on like.
The secret,
I would never double up like that.
You just let them take out the enemies.
I would do the Frugalist and I would do the Merchant run maybe, but I would never do the pistol and knife plus those two.
That's what I do. You just bait them and they just take out the enemies for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, because the thing is that like the as far as I was aware, like the enemies are just like infinitely spawning. So it's like I think in the end,
there's only three. James said the same thing. That's not the case. There's only 3 waves.
Is it just 3 waves?
Yeah,
right.
I know it seems like it's fucking infinite. Yeah, there's only 3 waves.
Okay, that's interesting to know. But yeah, it's funny because while I was doing like in the many deaths I had in that room, because initially my strategy is like, when you have the first lot of members that come down at you from the stairs, initially I was just shooting them and getting them out of the way, but because you shoot them, the Gyarados then kind of are alert to your presence, so they'll just run over to you immediately, and it's just chaos. But then what I realized is that if you hold L1, you can pull the knife out, and like if you actually just aim the knife at their legs, and like quickly, I mean, I want to say stab them with it, but really with the way Leon does it, it's kind of just like a quick poke. If you poke him in the leg with the knife, they'll just instantly stagger to the floor, and like you can just go in for a quick knife kill. Like again, like basically all that's to say, just the amount of like depth and stuff and variety of things that you can do with the combat is incredible. Like the parry is, like, I don't think I'll be able to do like a Resident Evil or like a survival horror type game without a parry mechanic of this sort again, really, or at least even a dodge. Like it completely changes the way that you approach combat in Resident Evil. Like, because like previously it's like, okay, stand away, just like back away, shoot the enemies, but now it's like, no, I can actually go in and shoot the enemies and parry and have that defensive capability.
Now, do you guys think they should have had like The Last of Us Part 2 where you can like crouch and you can crouch, but I mean
prone?
Like prone and like dodge and things like that. Do you think they should have had that more in this game?
I will say, and James, shut the fuck up. I will say that I do miss the dodge mechanics from Resident Evil 3. That's why I told you to shut the fuck up. The dodge mechanics from Resident Evil 3, and I kind of like those. I know they were a little stingy, but I like the idea about it.
Oh yeah.
But I like the idea.
Someone's actually modded in like the combat roll on PC into the game, and it once you see it in action though, I don't want to say it completely breaks the combat, but like it just completely breaks the flow, because like it goes back to just, like what I literally just said. It's like you're going into enemies, like you're advancing forward into enemy encounters, and you can kind of parry and do all that stuff. But then like kind of like with the gameplay I saw, you just being able to kind of roll out of the way of certain things, it looks off. If that's even like a valid criticism, but it's like, no, it looks weird for Leon to be dodging away and stuff. What was the other thing you said besides the roll? The prone. I mean, kind of same argument in like The Last of Us Part 1. Like I mean, sure, it would be great to have a prone, but I just don't think especially in here, like the mechanics and the environments just aren't really built for prone.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't think it'd break the game, but it's like it just wouldn't fit. I don't think it'd fit.
I just don't know when I'd have time to do that unless I'm picking Ganados off from afar with the sniper. So I just don't know when I'd have time. Because to balance the game, they had to make the Ganados so much more aggressive, because now you can shoot and move. In the original, you can't, and so the Ganados will just fucking stand there. But in this one, they won't. So I just can't see prone being very useful unless you are picking them off from afar, which, hey, I mean, maybe you can, but you can do that anyway, just standing up.
If stealth was even like 20% more necessary than they make it in this game, then yeah, prone would be useful. But like, I mean, we can get into it in like a bit more detail in a second if we want, but like the stealth is like, I think at that perfect balance in this game where it's like, like it, depending on the room and situation you're in, it's a very effective option.
Yeah, I love the stealth. I think it's
like it's not pushed on you, but like there are obviously some rooms where it's like stealth.
I love it.
It's an option. It's always an option.
It's another tool in the toolbox. The bolt thrower makes it a bit easier to be stealthy too. I'm not gonna say the bolt thrower is like the best thing ever, but I did find it helpful, especially in the Gardevoir room, to help me kind of take out a bunch of enemies first and then go for the Gardevoirs. So in situations like that, especially, and in the village, it can be pretty helpful.
Yeah, I spoiled the bolt thrower very early on.
Yeah.
Oh, I never used that gun ever.
The only thing I still fucking hate in this game is Del Lago. I still hate that fight. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. Really annoys me.
I never like I beat I beat the game on 3 different difficulties, and I beat it all in the first try. And I just,
Delago took
yeah.
me. Wow, okay, easy there, gamer score.
Yeah, but
it took me like 10, 15 tries
fight.
On professional for Delago.
That was. I think that fight was easy. I never liked that. I never cared for that fight, even in the original.
I just don't like that they take all your weapons away. They take and they take your health away and they replace it with the bow. And you know what I don't like? I really don't like this. All right, I know QTs. We've all turned on QTs. Now they're the mark of the devil or whatever. But like, okay, I really don't like that they took away my option if I get knocked off the boat to swim the fuck back to it. I just get fucking eaten, and that's so lame. So lame.
Yeah, I agree with that.
These are nitpicks,
but that fight was
incredibly small nitpicks.
But that fight was it was just the same. I mean, this game, a lot of the boss battles were the same. Like,
yeah, they're very similar.
To me, I mean, the first time I played this was on standard, and I thought this game was like really easy on on standard. Like, I was like, I have way too much ammo, way too much health, and I was just flying through the game. It was
well balanced to me, but I mean,
I agree.
No, I'm not saying it's not balanced. I'm just saying I found it easy until I got to like hardcore, and then I was like, okay, now the AI is like they're running right at me. Like, I was like, oh my god.
I was honestly surprised that like even like I mean again like to the doubled Garrador room even on assisted I was dying a bunch.
I mean, with just the handgun.
Yeah,
then,
like I was.
See that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like I mean. Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. But it's like at the same time, it's like it's surprising. Like, and it wasn't just the Garrador room. It was like I know, it was one of the later rooms in like chapter 14 or something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the regenerators are a pain in the ass with knife and hand.
I feel like
I'm not looking forward to revisiting that, but like
I feel like it was more annoying in the original though. I feel like there was more of them in the original. Like, in terms of
there
like...
are definitely more of them. I mean, I think there were definitely more of them.
They were so easy to avoid in this game.
A lot of them you can skip in the... Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they made the shambling animation that they used to have when they like go fast every once in a while. They made that their whole animation in the remake. So now they're just like walking at you. And they're like, it's harder to get away from them, but you can still walk right by them. Which I really should have done the first time I fought them. I unloaded everything.
You just shoot them. You just shoot them in the. All you do is shoot them in the leg and just go around them.
Yeah. Well, I always freak out because then they start doing the fucking Scotty 2 Hottie worm move at me, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
I think I just found it easier just because I know Resident Evil 4 so well, so I just know what to expect.
Yeah.
And so that's why.
I mean, I played the remaster I think a year or two ago, so it's semi fresh for me. So it just felt like I was playing the same game, just better. Like, obviously the better version of it. Like, better.
But there was a couple sections that were. There was a couple sections.
Talk about the shooting gallery.
Yeah. I just want to say before we get to that I want to say there were some sections that I love that they took out. I always hated that one section where you get thrown in a cage with a Garrador and you have to like break the locks, and that part is so annoying.
It sucks.
And I hate that part where you're like in the lava cutscene. And I hate that part when you're in the lava place and you have like guys like shooting they're dropping fire on you and you have to like shoot them with a rifle. Yeah, it's so annoying. There's a lot of sections I love that they took out. Like, it was very smart for them to take out. So I thought the pacing in this game was a lot better than in the original. Yes. Because the original has some really bad moments I hate. But I still don't like that they kept the water area. I still hate that room. I really do.
Waterhall.
I like with Ashley or
I hate that.
Yeah, with Ashley. Waterhall. It's infamously top.
If you combine,
it's a run killer.
Yeah, if you combine my number of playthroughs in the original and the remake, I've beaten this game 28 times. So it's like I hate that level. It's the level I dread every time I play Resident Evil 4. I'm like, oh my god. It's this part.
I will put it to you this way, Mitch. I have been watching like world record runners on who have been playing on professional and new game professional, not new game plus, and even world record speedrunners save before Waterhall. That is how infamously difficult Waterhall is. They are willing to take that 20-second time loss and jeopardize world record just so they don't die on professional.
Because not only
Waterhall's a nightmare.
Because it
really is.
Because on professional difficulty, even with like an infinite rocket launcher, those arrows take
Yes.
They deal so much.
They're covering you from every single fucking direction. They're playing 4D chess while you're playing checkers.
ML1
and the rocket launcher. You deal if you shoot the rocket launcher too close to you, you actually take damage in this game.
Yes, you do.
Oh yeah,
which
I still prefer it over the hand cannon, but it's That's
they didn't do
pitfall.
that in the Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 remake. They added that in this game, and it's a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's a real.
I mean,
you have to choose your shots a little more
balance-wise, it
carefully.
makes sense though. Balance-wise, it makes sense though.
Oh yeah,
I
they
agree.
made Resident Evil 2 remake too easy.
Do I really want balance when I have an infinite rocket launcher in my hands? I'm not sure.
So they made it,
True.
Especially
if it's a regular rocket launcher, that's fine. But if it's an infinite, I mean, come on. At that point, am I even playing fair? Come on.
And I love. While we're on the topic of like speedrunning, I love that there's so many skips in this game. I don't mean just like glitching through a door. I mean like the devs added skips to this game. Like you can shoot the bell. You can shoot like
the bell one is just like I think is one of the all-time like ingenious skips that a devs put in the game. It's like no one had to put it in there. I'm shocked that someone even came across it in the first place. Like that it even crossed their mind to shoot the bell. But it's like it's in there and it's fantastic. I love it. Like I mean, you can only do it on New Game Plus with a rifle, but I love it.
I will also name a couple of the other skips, especially with the grenade. If you throw a couple grenades at the turret that attempts to shoot down Mike, of course, never dies. We all love Mike, and we're gonna go to the bar with him. And I'm not in denial. You are. But anyway, so if you throw a couple grenades in there, it'll explode. Also, when Ashley is in the crane, very important. She has to be in the crane. Don't throw the grenades before the crane, like I did, and be an idiot. If Ashley is in the crane and you throw a couple grenades at the wall where she throws the wrecking ball, then it'll break faster and you can skip a couple waves.
Or you can use a rocket launcher.
Or you can use a No, I tried the infinite rocket launcher.
Does. It works.
It does? Does it really help? I tried it.
It only takes for her to 2 hits for it to break the wall if you use the rocket launcher.
Oh, okay.
But you have to wait for the cutscene to happen where she's already in the crane. You can't do it before.
Yeah. Maybe I shot beforehand. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I
did it 3 times.
Let's talk about the shooting gallery. I love the shooting gallery so much. Honestly, could be one of my favorite mini games of all time. It is so incredibly rewarding. It is also at times very frustrating, but I mean that's part of the the deal. I just think the way that they redid this is so smart. I'm a little disappointed that they never overhaul the theme. Like it's always pirates. I love pirates, by the way. Big fan. Took a class on pirates. But like I wish that they did like a little more with the theme. It's kind of cheap that like every time and no matter like which level you're, this is a stupid nitpick, but I just was like, oh, I was hoping it was like, I don't know, going to be something else. But it's ridiculously fun, ridiculously rewarding. The charms are really great. You can get a striker charm. If you're trying to speedrun, get the striker charm because that can make you move 15% faster, I think. I haven't gone
7%.
Which is a reference.
7%,
which is a reference.
Yeah.
Yes, which is a reference to the famous clip. I mean, it's so the famous skip. It's so famous that even IGN has a video on it.
Yeah.
I know. And yeah.
What they should have did with the shooting gallery is like they should have did like Resident Evil game references like one level could have like Resident Evil 0 or like like Resident Evil 2 remake or how like zombie like Ganado things like that.
Yeah, I mean if we're going for that angle, I think because they already like like unabashedly just reusing the models from the original RE4 for like the charms and stuff, it would have been really fun just to have like the original RE4 models and textures just on Ganados and stuff for like enemies you have to shoot. Like again, pirate theme is fine, like it, like if we really want to go for like lore accuracy, when talking about a hidden shooting gallery and magical elevators in the middle of mines and castles and stuff, sure, pirate theme works. But yeah, it would have been fun.
I really enjoyed the cinematics of this game. I love the cutscenes. Like I thought this game looked phenomenal.
I'm so glad they kept the goofy spirit of the original. I mean, where's everybody going? Bingo almost didn't make it into the game. By the way, if you listen to one of the interviews with voice, really? They almost tried to replace it with something else, and the voice actor was like, no, let's try the original, and they did it, and it stuck. But I love all of it so much. And then sometimes when they don't have the original lines, like "No thanks, bro," or or like your small time, like they'll put that in the achievements instead, which is such a good compromise. Such a good compromise.
I'm still sad that they didn't do rain or shine. You're going down. That's my
it's such a good line.
That's my favorite Leon line. And
I still I think my favorite one is when Salazar when Ramon says I have sent my left hand to dispose of you, and without skipping a beat, Leon goes, your left hand comes off.
Yeah,
it's like I love that line. Absolutely a me move that I would do, but
no thanks, bro.
I will say since we can talk very vague spoilers, but
I think we put a spoiler alert here now. Just
I think it's
either
very
way.
cool.
It's RE4. Like if you're worried about spoilers, then
it's a pretty big one.
17-year-old, it's an 18-year-old game now. So.
Yeah,
I think it's great. I think it's great that they rewrote the ending dialogue between Leon and Ashley. The one in the original has not aged very well for multiple reasons.
I don't think Ashley's aged well at all in any sense of the word.
I agree. I was trying to be nice, but but I think it's written a lot better now, and it makes a lot more sense than in the original.
I mean, how old was she in the original?
She's like 18.
Well, she was.
Because
he's like 24.
18 to 20.
I mean, I guess 18, 24 is not a big deal, but I get what you're saying.
It's not a big deal, but it's just a little weird. It's also weird because there's no setup for that. It just comes out of nowhere that apparently
it does.
The thing age gap aside, I think the thing in the original that throws me off is that the same actor who voices Ashley in the original also voices one of the side characters in Jimmy Neutron, and once I've figured that out, I can't get out of my head.
Is it Cindy?
Cindy.
Oh my god!
And she's Sandy in SpongeBob.
Oh, that's right. I did hear about this.
Yeah, she's the squad.
I will say while we're on the topic of voice acting, that's the only things that maybe I will put in heavy quotes here. Majorly bothered me, and that's relative. I don't think Ada and Sadler's voices are very good. I just don't think they work.
Yeah.
And I will say, fuck anybody who's harassing Ada's voice actress about it. That's bullshit.
Oh, I didn't even know people were doing that.
Yeah, people were. Of course, people were doing it.
I mean, of course they are, but I didn't really hear about it.
No, I know.
I mean, her response to it could have.
I heard about it from Spear Hunter,
PR agent, but yeah.
I heard about it from Spear Hunter and a few other.
I just thought she was flat.
She's flat, but that's it. I mean, it could have just been the voice direction. It could have been the script. We don't fucking know.
I didn't like her design either. I just thought the character model didn't fit the Resident Evil 2 remake. It's canon to Resident Evil 2. So
I also think it sucks because the only reason they really picked her is they didn't want to work with union people, and I think that sucks too. From Capcom.
Well, they did that. They did that with Claire too in the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Which double sucks. Because there's a reason why the Screenwriters Guild and all that stuff exists. Screen Actors, whatever. Actors Guild. I will say Ashley's voice actor is great. Leon's voice actor is great. I love Salazar's voice actor, especially when he gets really monstrous. I think he killed it. That is incredible. I know he killed it because he killed me about 1 million times on Professional.
I wasn't.
So
I want to say though, I wasn't. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of his new design. I just.
Yeah,
I thought he looked like an old.
They should have kept the funny little top hat. They should have kept the Napoleon complex.
I thought he looked too much like an old lady with the wig on and everything. I thought he looked.
What was it? A wig?
I think so. Or his hair.
Okay. Maybe. I thought it was just his hair. I don't know.
No, I thought he had like an old judge hair, like an old.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe I never put that together.
Just quickly to go back to Ada. I remember when the trailers came out, I think they only showed us 2 lines, but I remember thinking, oh god, yeah, she sounds horrible. But then in the actual game, maybe it's just because my expectations were so low, perhaps. I quite liked her actually in the remake. I think there were definitely some moments that were, if not.
I mean, she's barely in the game. Honestly, if you speedrun the game, I don't even think you hear her voice once.
Yeah.
No,
so it's whatever.
It's exclusively in cutscenes.
It's true.
But she's, I think she's far from,
she's not terrible.
The
I just
worst
thought
actress. I think she's I think part of me. I mean, I think the Resident Evil 2 remake, Ada, her acting was more consistent.
Yes.
If that
I
makes
liked
sense.
her in RE2.
I think
yeah.
I think it's the same thing because I kind of had problems with Resident Evil 2 remakes voice acting too, only because I'm just so used to the original cast. It just feels off.
Yeah.
Like,
you were almost a Jill sandwich. Sorry, I know that's Resident Evil 1.
Because if like Kingdom Hearts like recasted Sora as somebody else that wasn't Haley Joel,
I would murder somebody.
It wouldn't feel right.
It'd be like I would kill somebody.
It's like Master Chief played by someone else. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
It's just too iconic for me. And like Leon Resident Evil 4 voice is just so iconic. And then Paul Mercer, his Resident Evil 6 voice was almost spot on. You couldn't even really tell the difference.
I will say
Matthew
Mercer, my bad.
I will say it's a little sad that they replaced the merchant's voice, but I got used to it. I got used to it after a while, and I think he did great. I also thought about Mitch every now and then because his accent was just very very Australian-ish or New Zealand-ish. I'm not sure.
No,
it's like
it's a little Australian.
No, there's like
it's a rough British accent, which is
like a tinge.
It's British. It's British, but the tone is very like Australian, like Islander. Like he feels like some Crocodile Dundee guy.
Yeah, I still love the merchant, my beloved.
Next
you know what?
This is a primal knife.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I had like one of those moments where when I was playing the remake, and I was always excited to see the merchant next, and it reminded me of that meme where it's like, and everyone should be asking in every scene, where's the merchant? And like that was me in RE4. I'm like, where the fuck's the merchant? Let's hang out with my guy again.
But I totally agree with Sadler's voice. I did not like Sadler's voice. Like,
I didn't like Sadler at all. He sounded like a fucking discount circus preacher from True Detective or some bullshit.
Yeah,
I didn't like it at all. I thought he worked so much better in the original, in my opinion.
And you guys like Krauser's voice better than I do. I didn't like Krauser's voice that much.
I thought he was fine.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I just thought I just like his original voice better. I think it fits the character more.
I do agree.
He reminded me of Virgil from DMC.
Yeah, his voice sounded so much like Virgil, and I was like, I don't know if that fits like a big tough army guy. Like, because Virgil's like this sleek swordsman with like slick back hair. It fits him better.
To be fair, Krause has always given me small dick energy, so like it fits.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, do you guys all know who this Krauser guy is? Is that?
I mean, we know him from the original.
I know him from Dark Side Chronicles.
Yeah. I mean, because this game kind of goes into it because. How long ago did you beat the Krauser boss fight? Like, was that still just a couple hours for you?
Say yesterday?
Yesterday I think. But it, like somebody said, I asked about it with the first Krauser boss fight because there's a couple of them. I asked, I asked around like, am I supposed to know what the hell these guys are talking about and who this guy is? And I got told that they would explain it later.
Yes and no.
But they kind of didn't. I still don't know really what was going on there.
I mean, did you read the
they do kind of explain it
in the room? But
sorry, they do kind of explain it through the files and stuff right before you fight Krauser, and also like the cutscenes between Krauser. I agree they keep it vague. They don't They definitely don't over explain it. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear to me at least that Leon and Krauser used to be in the same infantry. Krauser was his superior. I think the mission
like
that
Krauser... you see him briefly in like the very first cutscene as well. Like that's him training Leon when they're like in the knife fight. So it's like that, it's bare minimum in terms of setup, but it's like
I mean it's Resident Evil, y'all. They're not looking for Oscars.
Even in the original timeline, and then in Dark Side Chronicles, his reasoning for turning bad was always kind of Like, I get it. The government abandoned his troop and let them all to die. He just wants more power. Like, that's all he wants.
Well, no, that was in the remake. Canon.
Oh, is that in the remake?
No, even in the original. No, in the original, he was like, he got hurt, and he was like, I'll never get hurt again, and this is not acceptable. And he doesn't say that, but he looks at his arm, and he's like, he looks at his arm, and he's like, I'll never get hurt. He doesn't say that, but he looks at his arm, and he's like, I want more power because I'm too weak.
Krauser went on Tinder and he got emotionally hurt, and he's like,
that's basically what happens. I mean, he turns bad like out of nowhere. Honestly, I never understood his shift from like.
I think they do a better job with his shtick in this game. I think it makes a lot more sense. Government abandoned his troop and they all get killed.
But I always even in the original, because it's my favorite game of all time. But I always felt like the Krauser should got more development in terms of like they should have made him like a tragic hero. Like they should have made him fall from grace. Like they should have, you know what I mean? Because they never absolutely because he just comes off an asshole like right off the bat. Like you never.
Yeah, he does.
Like if they did if Captain America became bad. Or something,
do like the way that they rewrote. Cool. I do like the way that they rewrote Luis's death in this game. In the original, Sadler kills him, but in this one, Krauser kills him out of nowhere. Yes! And so it's better because it gives more stakes for the Krauser fight. So even if you don't give a shit about their backstory and don't read the files, you still, I hope, like Luis. I like Luis. I thought his poncho
I love Luis in this game.
I know. I thought he was great. No talking about ballistic, which was good. That was good. That was a good choice.
I thought he was way better. I thought he was way better in the remake than in the original. I thought he was.
I liked him, but not enough to like be desperate to kill the guy that killed him.
Oh, I don't mean desperate, but I mean like at least it gives some stakes. At least it gives some character stakes. You know.
I mean,
it's
as much as
as
much as I despised the second Krauser fight, the first one was so fun because of how it leans on the parry mechanic. You know,
even in the original, the Krauser fight, the second one was always kind of clunky.
Yeah,
it was never because you have no space to move.
Fuck bear
it's
traps.
Still infinitely better than the original.
This game has made me completely anti bear trap. I don't care if there are too many bears in the world. Bears can fucking rule the world for all I care. If we are standing between extinction and between bear traps, I will choose extinction every time. I swear to God, I kept fucking running into those bear traps. I would like knife or shoot one, and then I'd turn around. It'd be like the fucking cartoon bit where Sideshow Bob and the Simpsons like steps on a fucking rake, and then he turns around, he steps on a fucking rake.
I noticed in my second, my second and third playthrough, I wasn't taking damage anymore from them. So I guess did the melee vets like? Does that like make you immune?
I think so. I think it takes
damage from them at all. You don't take damage.
No, I don't think you ever take damage.
I wasn't sure because I was like, I don't remember ever taking damage from them.
I felt like you did. At least on professional, I felt like you did.
I mean, thinking of the original though.
I mean, maybe professional, but it's like because at first you naturally assume, I've stepped on a bear track, I've taken damage, but you don't. As far as
but this is how I see, Dory. This is how I know you didn't do a 22-hour playthrough like I did.
Wait, I did do a 22. Actually, my original playthrough is 22 hours.
Mine's 17.
Oh, okay. Never mind. That no, but I never really had
shocked you
with
got
bear
that
traps.
I was too. I really took
only I only got damaged from getting stuck in them like twice. Every other time I got stuck in them, I was out of combat. So.
Wait, I've at this point I've basically memorized where all of the at least all the main bear traps are. It in all the areas except for that last little area before you reach the shack at the end of chapter 1, where it's you're in that really grassy area, and there's a bunch of you got a little trip mine set up, and you've got all those different sort of disheveled huts, and you've got a bunch of ganados everywhere. I always managed to trigger at least 1 or 2 bear traps on my way into the house. Every single time. It's just that grass. I will say, in the same video where I saw, someone modded in the combat role and stuff, the guy also showed a mod where they added a little red flag, like a little mini red flag to where all the bear traps are. It's it's not game breaking, but it's a legitimately good mod that improves it, because it gives them a bit more visibility. It's just a tiny little, I mean, red flag.
They are purposely hidden and fucking blend right in. I know that's the point. But my autistic ass
just on New Game
hated
Plus
them so much because I just couldn't. I have no fucking sense of situation sometimes, and I just would walk into. I felt like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. I'd walk into one, get out, walk into another. A ganado would fucking hit me from behind, dead. No, I'm exaggerating. Obviously, that never happened to me. But
I actually have a question vis-a-vis the bear traps. So how there's that wolf that gets caught in one of them?
Yes.
Right. Obviously, our first reaction, I hope, is to go and rescue the wolf.
Of course.
Is it possible I assume it's possible to leave the wolf, but is it also
Yes,
possible to shoot the
monster.
wolf?
Yeah.
Is it possible to what? The wolf?
Shoot the wolf? Can you shoot the wolf?
No.
I
put it out of
don't
its-
know. I've
its
never
misery.
tried. You absolute monster.
No.
I
It's like
kinda
the-
wanna
it-
try
do a
now.
speedrun.
It's like the
I do a
original.
speed run.
It's like the original.
Yeah,
If you shoot
I
it,
do it- I do
he
a-
runs. He just runs away, and that's it.
Okay.
Alright.
I do a speed run category I called any dog percent, where I absolutely refuse to leave. I don't care if it loses me time, or if the dog interrupts the El Gigante fight. I don't give a shit.
Every playthrough,
I'm
I
saving.
rescue the dog.
I'm saving that dog.
Yeah.
Saving that dog every time.
Fair enough. I don't think anyone can blame me for that.
Yeah. So
But what else?
yeah.
Let's see.
what else do we want to talk about? The armor for Ashley is back and really good.
That's a game changer.
Yep,
It makes the game very easy.
I know that I beat it on hardcore before I did my S rank for professional because I wanted that infinite launcher armor combo. Can
How-
you
you know,
S
I
plus?
think
Can you
guys-
S plus with the hand cannon and the infinite launcher, or not the infinite launcher, the Chicago typewriter?
No,
It-
you have to
it-
do new
people
game.
were- Okay, it has to be new game, but you can just get those extra weapons from the
I mean,
trunk.
you can-
So
Yeah, I mean, like I'm pretty sure. I mean, like because I know there's like a little challenge in the main menu where it's like, or it's like usually you'd get the hand cannon by beating professional without using any bonus weapons. So like you
yeah,
infinite
or
rocket
you can get it
launcher,
from
your Chicago
mercenaries. Oh, we
typewriter.
should talk about mercenaries too.
Yeah. Oh yes.
do that,
Well,
though-
I mean, before we do that, yeah, keep on the main game for a little bit longer.
you guys,
yeah.
were talking a little bit earlier about your favorite lines. I just wanted to give mine, which was
Yes.
during the Sadler boss fight. I believe at the end he said he stabs him through the eye with a whatever it is, and he says, "I'll give you a holy body."
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't even get that at the time. That's excellent.
I,
will say,
that's mine.
one
of-
line that really
I'll-
popped me was
Yep.
when Leon towards the end of the game said, "Well, Ada, I guess we're gonna go our separate ways." And James, I don't know if you know, but the DLC for Ada is called Separate Ways, and so that'll
Okay.
yes. So they were
Or another
absolutely
order in Japan.
yeah,
I mean, Leon and Ada have been together in so many movies and games at this point that like,
yeah.
they don't like go their separate ways.
I
mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean-
the movies imply that they have like a hookup relationship where like they.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, just kiss already, you two.
No,
Good
no,
lord.
they.
I heard a rumor.
It's implied that they like have a one night stand and then they kind of break. Then they just break off. Like she sneaks out and then they just have like they have like this Mr.
Which is typical Ada.
They have like this
Yeah,
Mr.
I
They have
was
like
about
this.
to
Mis-
say,
They have
yeah.
like this Mr. and Mrs. Smith like kind of like relationship, I guess. Without the like.
I
being
heard
married.
I heard a rumor that when Leon says that they're going to go their separate ways, some music was supposed to play at that moment, but they couldn't get the rights to Journey.
Let's go.
There it
That's a good one.
I mean, on the topic of separate ways, like earlier we talked about how the U3 boss isn't in the game, but I feel like, I mean, even, you know, like not even taking leaks and stuff into account, I feel like everyone's just kind of naturally concluded that it's just going to be in separate ways now, which
Yeah, I mean,
I'm happy with.
Maybe. I mean,
mean,
isn't she
like,
the one who actually like canonically kills Krauser? So maybe we're gonna get that fight too.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think so. Like, I honestly haven't played the separate ways DLC in the original.
Oh,
even. Like, I was
it adds a
going to, but then I
whole.
just
It adds a whole other layer of the story.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, which is like the type of DLC that I love, but I just haven't played it because I just fell off so hard from like the original RE4's like gameplay mechanics. Like I got used to it for the first playthrough, but then it's like after like 15, 16 hours. Like granted, just so you know, at least 2 of them were taken up with that goddamn like Ashley puzzle in her segment where you have like the little pick you have to slide. That's just the worst.
Yeah,
Yeah, the worst.
I didn't
Um,
really care for the Ashley section.
I'm not sure if you
that
guys got
much.
any of that either. You just put the chat on me, but yeah.
Yeah, you were botting a little bit, but the Ashley section
Okay.
was not the best part. I thought it was like the cherry part in Resident Evil 2 Remake. I just don't like. I don't really.
I mean,
care for it.
Are you talking about?
I mean, kind of
And
like
once you know the clock part, you can skip by a
Remake.
large,
Oh yeah,
a large
once
part
you,
of it.
yeah. Once you know like
You-
once you know the time, it's a piece of
Hey,
cake.
I had a real autistic moment where on professional the time I know, right? Where it's 7 o'clock, but the paper says 7:12, and so I kept being like, well, 7:12.
Yes.
7:12 seems kind of random, but okay. I mean, it's not like 11:04 is any less random.
I also
So I kept doing 7:12, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And so I had to look it up, and I was like, "Oh, 7 o'clock. I feel so stupid."
I believe the time is the same as
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2, so it's like a Silent Hill 2 reference.
Oh, is it? Very nice.
I don't know if it's the original,
no,
the
'cause
standard
in,
one, or the remake, or the professional one. I don't remember which one it is. But one of them is
Well,
tribute.
Well, something I appreciate is that I'm pretty sure in assisted and standard, they literally just give you the time, just plain as day, it's 11:04 or something.
Yeah.
But then for hardcore and I'm assuming professional as well,
Seven.
yeah, they give you Roman numerals to work out. And yeah, I was the same as Story. I got stumped on it. But it is good to know that you can skip, a significant part of it, because at least the first time around, on my second run, I was doing hardcore, and that's when they changed the time. So I tried to do the skip where it's 11:04. It didn't work. So I'm just oh, okay, I guess I'll have to. So I had to go through and do the whole thing again.
Yeah.
But it is good to know that I could have just skipped it.
Yeah, that part's only hard if you're trying to get all the collectibles.
On my I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. To be fair, on my third playthrough, I was trying to go for all the treasures, so I kind of had to go the long way. But yeah,
it's even easy. It's even a bit easier when you have the pseudo armor, because she can't get it killed. So it's it's a piece of it's a joke at that point.
I feel like this is.
How do you even get the
What?
the armor? By the way, sorry.
I
How
think-
do you get the armor again? What's the requirement for that?
I think you get S rank on hardcore.
Yes, exactly,
Right,
or
okay.
higher.
Okay.
But I would not
Right.
recommend
Well,
trying to
it's only
do.
S plus.
I
Yeah.
would- no,
No,
I would-
maybe it is only hardcore. Maybe it is only hardcore.
I don't think anything stacks, so I think you have to do it on hardcore.
That makes sense.
No, there are definitely a couple things that say or higher.
But I wouldn't do
Um,
professional without the pseudo armor.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's either it's S or S plus. Really, you can't go much higher than S.
No, yeah, but
Yeah,
S plus
in terms of
is like
rankings.
yeah. I haven't done S plus yet because I'm not sure
Yeah.
I feel like doing new game plot. I don't feel like
Agreed.
That's only.
I feel like this
I
is,
don't like the
um,
I don't like the platinum in this game. I don't.
I don't
I
e-
think
I
the
don't
trophy
either.
like
I mean, no,
I don't mind it.
No,
I'm
it's
gonna
just,
go for it.
It's too much. No, it's too much for me. I don't. I'm just in the placement, and I'm not a trophy hunter like I used to be. I still go after platinums, but I can't. I don't have the energy for 7 playthroughs of a game. I only have so much time in my life. Honestly,
And,
and
yeah,
I already
that's
beat it.
fair.
I already beat it 3 times. How many times can I beat that game? Maybe in the future.
700.
Yeah. So.
15, 16, however many times you beat the original over the years.
James, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, just on the
Yeah, sir.
on the Ashley section. You guys are saying you are not big fans of it, right?
Yeah, it was
Okay,
alright.
on it.
I
It
liked
was
it.
fine.
I feel like
liked it.
it was
I
alright.
feel like
I liked it.
Okay,
'cause I was
Mitch
gonna
liked
say,
it. I thought it was
gonna say, I
alright.
feel like this is another Spider-Man situation where everyone hates the MJ stealth
Yeah.
sections, and I'm the
Yeah.
absolute freak who thinks they're really fun.
No.
Because I thought for me this
do.
for me this the Ashley section was the first my first thought when it came on was the section in Resident Evil Village with the baby.
Oh. Well, that was
because
yeah.
Oh right.
That was way
yeah.
better.
because that was because I feel like all the games have that one section that is supposed to be really scary, and that's what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be the scary, and it didn't scare me that much, but it was definitely a lot more tense than any other part of the game. And
Even the regenerators. At least the first.
that section was fucking great as well. The
Yeah,
bit in,
yeah.
with the nitrogen, liquid nitrogen kind of freezing. Yeah.
Note for that.
Oh,
I
no,
love that
yeah,
they
that's,
tried to
that's-
fucking make
yeah.
any kind of relative sense where they're like, oh, the request for liquid nitrogen has been approved by that. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, Capcom? Just put the fucking liquid nitrogen there.
But those sections,
That should, that itself should have just been the note, yeah.
because it's it's a dumb action game kind of, it's not supposed to be as intense as Resident Evil 2 remake or as scary or anything, but those sections are still the most fun for me. Those are the best parts for me.
Well, this game is way
Yeah.
scarier than the original. It has a lot more darker scenery and you walk in a lot more scarier places than the original. The original game is straight up action game. This game is way more survival horror than the original.
I think because I mean, like, a lot of people, you know, for the original still kind of claim that, oh, you know, like the horror or like the tension came from just how overwhelmed you could be by all the enemies. But I feel like, because in the original, all you really had to do was just like headshot, like even just one of them, and then you could like roundhouse kick like 5 of them, and then you could just like, you know, quickly just go down and knife them a couple times. But here it's like, you know, it's like like headshotting an enemy isn't guaranteed to, or like sort of, you know, shooting an enemy in the head or in the legs isn't like a guaranteed stagger, you know, like animation, like, you know, like it's,
Yeah.
I don't want to say
mean, like-
RNG, but like, yeah, no, like it's not constantly reliable like in the original, and like I properly feel tension, especially like with the knife durability and everything. Just I feel like Capcom this time around really nailed just that tension from like how high intensity and like how action focused this game is.
I don't know if I got to say I disagree. For me, the sections with all the like tons of enemies were not intense at all. They were just annoying. Like, I feel like the more enemies in a section, the more I hated it.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was like the ones where you've got enemies coming out from all sides, those are the ones where I died the most. And I had to, and like, because they had more enemies, I got further into the encounter before I died. And then I had like more to go through after I died, like over again.
I found the autosaves and
punishing.
the typewriters pretty generous, honestly. So I'm surprised.
I know they were. Like,
will
the
say that-
autosaves were generous. They put you right at the start of an area.
Okay.
But like some of those areas where they throw tons and tons of enemies at you.
The mic section
I can-
in particular, I can imagine frustrating for you.
Yeah, like I can spend like 10 minutes clearing out enemies and then die, and it still puts me at the start of the section, but I still lost 10
That was the
minutes.
hardest part of the
Yeah,
game, in
that's
my
fair.
opinion.
Mic section is very difficult. I lost quite a few times to the turrets and the
turret
big
section
guys.
is so hard. Even in the original, I'd be every time I play the original.
It's a difficult part.
Yeah, that part
I'm
is
glad
hard.
that they got rid of the clunky, like, get behind things and press a certain button to,
Yeah.
you know, I don't have to fucking
Oh,
line
yeah.
myself up. Do we have anything else to say about the main game, or do we want to talk about Mercenaries?
There's
I have a couple.
I
other
mean,
things.
I know there's tons of like random little tidbits floating around my head, but I can't think of them.
I still recommend shooting the lake, and definitely nothing is bad is going
It's
to
so much
happen.
treasure
So
from it.
there's
Too bad
a
there's no
lot of
trophy.
treasure, honestly.
Too bad there's no trophy this time. But
I know, right? There should be a fucking trophy. What a waste. I did it the first time, of course, because I had to.
yeah.
Nothing bad happens again. You get tons of treasure. Don't worry about it.
so much treasure. So
This
much.
game has way more treasure than the first one. Like the original.
Yes, especially if you have
You
the
get so
gold
much
attaché
money.
case.
You get so much money in this game. So
I got
I find
2 million in 1.75 playthroughs. Like, it only took me almost 2 playthroughs unassisted to get it. It was not, and that was only like 8 hours.
I collected every single treasure in this game, except there was one I missed, but unfortunately I missed it like in the same level. So all I had to do was replay 15 again, chapter 15 again. So it wasn't that big of a deal.
Oh, yeah, not bad.
But and I had so much money by the end of my playthrough. I had so much I could have like bought the rocket launcher like 6 times.
But
Nice.
well, I think the thing is like how like sort of conservative were you being like with your purchases and upgrades and stuff like did you, because what I did in my first playthrough is that like I just kind of spread myself out everywhere like across all the different weapons and stuff, and I wasn't selling any of the weapons because like I know, you know, if you sell weapons back, you get like, you know, essentially like a full return on everything you invested into it, like in like money wise, like with all your upgrades and stuff. But other than like I think a couple exceptions, like I just put everything back in storage as it was. So like I feel like in that sense I was like fairly balanced in terms of money. But like what were you doing for at least your first playthrough? What were you doing?
Well, I played it exactly the same way I played Resident Evil 4 all the time. The Red 9 is my favorite favorite gun by far.
Yeah.
The Red 9 is always is my favorite gun in Resident Evil. That gun is so powerful. It makes the game so laughably easy when it's fully upgraded. Like even my first playthrough, I was like 2-shotting everybody at that point, besides like the bigger guys.
Yeah.
So I just fully focused on upgrading my Red 9 and then the TMPs because I think the TMPs are very OP in Resident Evil 4. Even in the remake, TMPs are so strong because they stagger enemies so easily. So when you fully upgrade them, they're like, and you get the stock and everything. It just mows down bosses. Like it makes
Seb and I were talking about like weapon preferences and stuff. I totally agree with him on the Red 9. One of my favorite weapons of all time. I don't like TMP only because it's kind of there's a lot of recoil, but you can get a stock for that and it kind of stabilizes it a bit. But I always feel very precious about my ammo. So I always feel like the TMP is going to run out. Like even when you're playing as Hunk and Mercenaries, I always feel like my TMP is like on the verge of running out.
TMP is a great gun for like a crowd control. Like when you're surrounded, it can just switch back and forth really quick. It staggers enemies. You can do a lot of like it can really save you in a bad situation. I also I don't like the striker gun. Everybody loves the striker. I always love the riot.
I like it. I prefer the riot gun.
I love the riot gun. I always I by the end of my playthrough, I had the TMP, the Red 9, and the riot gun all fully upgraded, like fully upgraded, and I still had way more money left over.
Did you have the Stingray fully upgraded?
No, I don't. There's no point of upgrading the rifle because it already does so much damage. It already like 2 shots enemies if you want to headshot them. So
I like the semi-automatic.
I think it's a waste of money personally because it's someone that I played Resident Evil 4 so many times. I know the rifles already does enough.
Yeah. I definitely see speedrunners not switching over to it because it does a great amount of damage. Like, and they use it on El Gigante. They use it on El Gigante.
Because El Gigante, he's so easy. If you just shoot him with the TMP, and then when he falls down and the Plaga comes out of his back, you just shoot him with the rifle. Easy peasy. So.
Yeah. I'll quickly add two. Now that we're talking about weapons, shout out to Preston, I believe it is, in the Draft Punks Discord, who completely managed to skip the shotgun in the first village fight.
My God!
Yeah,
it's like internally just twisted. Like I was like, my man.
I feel for him though. I feel for him because
I did too, right? James, you did too, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I almost did. Like I
almost did.
I only got it because I decided to go into that house one more time to check for a treasure. But I'd been in that house and I didn't get it already. So.
Right, because like I think like I was mentioning how like because in the you have that like big factory area in chapter 2, and I was mentioning how shotgun and pistol only is like a bit hard on that level, and then Press was like, oh well, aren't you a rich person? Like, no, you can pick it up for free. It is like. I will say as well that. Oh, sorry, just quickly. The deluxe edition, because I bought it. It comes with the 2 weapons. It comes with. I think at least one of them. The Skullcracker shotgun that it comes with, which is like kind of like a lever action kind of one. First of all, it has a really cool animation. Like whenever he's kind of like cocking like a new shell into it, like just kind of does a little twirl. Nice. Yeah. It's probably one of the best shotguns in the game. At least once you upgrade it. Not only does it, have decent amount of ammo capacity, does a decent amount of damage, but it's also like, I think it's like only like 2x4 in terms of space.
Yes, it doesn't take up as much space.
It takes up barely any space, which is a lifesaver.
I
think the same thing again for
That's the one problem.
Sorry, there's a butterfly. I think it's a butterfly pistol that you can like trade in with the merchant. That's like I think it's like 4x4. Again, brilliant little handgun. Maybe it's the Punisher.
Butterfly is like a Magnum, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Might
one
be
of the
Punisher,
coolest gun names of all time by Broken Butterfly.
No, my favorite is the Killer 7 because it's a video game reference.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Yes.
No,
yes.
Who knew?
I don't know, some people might not know. I mean
so niche.
To be fair, it only kind of clicked now. Of course, Killer 7. Shinji Mikami.
I should have just bought a fucking Killer 7 when I was on Professional or a rocket launcher.
I think my first playthrough I did it.
4 hours on Krauser. Kim will never forgive me.
I think I did buy the Killer 7 my first playthrough, but I don't think I ever really used it. I feel like I kind of wasted my money on it. Personally.
I miss the aim, the red aim.
Yeah,
that you
me
can
too.
have on
I missed the red laser.
I really like that.
Yeah, me too.
The red laser. You can get it, but it doesn't work with the Red 9 if I remember correctly.
I think that was the problem with the hand cannon because in the original the hand cannon had the laser, so it made it easier.
Oh, Yeah, that's why I remember the hand cannon being better in the original.
Right, I think that's the biggest problem with the hand cannon in this one is that like you can't. I swear I'm hitting them directly and I'm missing somehow.
Yes.
I'm
you gotta spray and pray.
Yeah,
which for a Magnum just doesn't work. But I got the Chicago typewriter, so suck it, fools.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thing. Shout out to Hot Topic Ashley. Got to be one of my favorite genders in the world. I just fucking love her outfit
costume?
so much.
I love
the costume.
Yeah,
or like her default, or
it's in the deluxe edition. I think it's
the casual.
I love Vampire Leon. I also love 19th century. I love 19th century.
Yes, yes, that one's great too. I think I gave him the sunglasses and the pinstripe, and that's my outfit right now.
Yeah, my second playthrough, I gave him like no jacket, just like regular like pads and everything with the sunglasses. He was like an action star.
I just want to say, those who are feeling thirsty for Leon, there is a shirtless mod on the PC. So just in case that was done within the first week.
It's probably more than that.
The first
I know week. PC for a reason.
Oh yeah,
it's probably So now I want to say, like, before we get into mercenaries, because this is one last thing, because this is part of the main campaign. They dropped a post-credit scene with Wesker, and and basically
I got spoiled on that a week before
I am fully expecting a Resident Evil 5 remake now. I would be surprised if we don't get it.
Boulders, baby!
It's been 14 years, so I think it's not like it's yesterday we got the game. Like, it came out in 2009, so...
It's been 20 years since... or almost 20? Over 20? Around 20 years since RE4. I am okay with the remake at this fucking point.
I just don't see them... Like, unless they heavily change up the lore... Like more than any other remake.
I mean,
unless they heavily change up, which they can. But
I think we should definitely do something
making
different.
A Resident Evil 5 without a Code
with
Veronica.
the location.
I don't see them doing that.
I don't think. I don't think they're gonna do Code Veronica.
Yeah,
I want it so bad because Code Veronica is like is the real Resident Evil 3, but.
I mean, like I know
really
why
is.
because especially without I mean, I'm not gonna get into it, but like too much. But like with Alfred, there's a lot of retooling they need to do.
Oh, they can't do the cross-dressing thing with Alfred.
They can't. Especially Claire's line.
What?
I wasn't even aware of this. No.
Did you not know?
No.
Oh my. Oh, okay.
I mean,
well, yeah. Let's put it this way. God, I hate saying it. A direct quote from Claire Redfield in the original Resident Evil Code Veronica is something you cross-dressing freak.
Yeah. Well,
it has not aged well at
all.
No,
that's not good. That's some Ace Ventura Pet Detective bullshit right there.
Yeah, just for context. Yeah. Alfred has a twin sister, and she's in a tube, like she's frozen. So he disguises himself as his sister.
I've never played Code Veronica, so I had no idea.
Code Veronica is one of the best Resident Evil games. It's like probably my top 3.
I've heard. Yeah.
It just has not aged well in that certain story-based areas.
I think Resident Evil 5 has not aged well in certain degrees as well.
Oh, in a lot of areas as well.
Yeah,
like that. I think that definitely needs some retooling.
I still think that trailer that they released at E3 was not a good look with them just mowing down.
Was that with Barry? Was that the one with Barry in there?
I don't remember, but I just remember there was a lot of backlash about the location of Africa and them just killing black people left and right, and it just kind of didn't look good optics wise.
I'm pretty sure it was. Chris and Barry, because I think Barry was supposed to, or someone else was intended to be like the original partner, because that it was just like, I think it was like a big part of the controversy was like, two white guys in Africa. Just at least in the trailer from what you can see.
Yes. As long as Resident Evil 5 brings back the boulder punching, I'm okay. Give me it. I'll take it. I love the co-op in RE5 so much. It's so fun.
I don't remember the outrage being super big at the time because it's not like it was today.
It's not like it.
I just mean it was big in terms of like gamer spheres. It didn't make breaking news or some shit.
I've got to ask you. That makes me think. Wasn't there supposed to be a scene in Resident Evil 4 where Leon runs away from a boulder?
Yes.
Yes. And also a giant.
I'm glad they got rid of that.
Robot statue.
They got rid of the giant robot statue. Which
well, I mean, no, they
It's
kept it in there just
it's not
differently.
his head, but it's packed up with dynamite, so you can just fucking shoot it.
Yeah, if you just shoot it with a rocket launcher or whatever, he stops.
No, you can just shoot it with a pistol.
It doesn't even
There's
work.
a
It doesn't even activate. Yeah.
There's a you can just shoot it with a pistol. There's some dynamite in the back of its head.
Yeah.
You're shitting me.
You deactivate it.
No, I'm not shitting you.
Yeah, deactivates it completely if you do that.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, no.
Never. Again, look, amazing.
Oh, there's a lot of sketches. You know what I like? One of the small things I liked was the like when you fight the two El Gigantes. Like if you kill them so fast, Lewis like, runs in the back, he's like, what the hell? Yeah.
Oh.
I love that.
Just to quickly get back to like the RE5 Code Veronica thing though.
Yeah.
Code Veronica's like, I mean, like it's technically just a side game, but it's like
it's not a side game. It's a mainline game. It's the real Resident Evil 3.
Well, I mean, it's not a numbered title.
That's because
it's not a mainline game in the sense.
That's because of Sony.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the book right here actually. I mean, and you've heard about it on others like Sphere Hunter and stuff talked about as well. But like this book is freaking incredible.
Yeah.
But like it goes into like the background of all the Resident Evil games, how they were made, all
That's
that
amazing
stuff.
Title. Itchy Taste. If you get the reference, you're a real Resident Evil.
So good.
It's a brilliant. It's a brilliant book. But yeah, like hearing the story about how Resident Evil 3 came about, or like how it became Resident Evil 3 specifically, was like I already knew the story, but like seeing more of the context and stuff behind it was really interesting, especially with how that kind of correlated with how their budget was and how the sales numbers went. But yeah, like Code Veronica's like intrinsic to RE5, in at least in the sense of like how Chris knows that Wesker's still alive after the events of RE1.
Yeah,
and it also like I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure there's some other stuff like especially with Umbrella and the backstory, like it sets up a lot of crucial backstory aspects for Oswald Lee Spencer, or at least like the Umbrella beginnings and stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's a really crucial piece of RE lore that I want to see it remade, like more than RE5. I feel like most people would agree, like because it's like the Silent Hill 1 versus Silent Hill 2 thing. Like I feel like Code Veronica is in more of a need of a remake than RE5 is. Oh, and it makes sense for them to do it first. I totally get why they've I totally get why Capcom have avoided the subject though. Like they've kind of danced around it because that, like, at least with like RE2 to 4 with the remakes, they they can just basically just go straight ahead. Like, okay, I mean, the baseline. We don't have to change the formula too much unless we decide to, like in RE3. The formula is there. Whereas with Code Veronica and probably some aspects of RE5, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. There'd be quite a bit of retooling in certain areas that need to take place. And I'd say that Capcom just like kind of just didn't, but like they wanted to go for the easy fruit before they went for some of the more dicey stuff. Which
because remake's a good time to redo Steve, because Steve is like Steve is considered like the Jar Jar Binks of Resident Evil, because he's like this Canadian, he's like this annoying Canadian kid who just like, and his voice acting is so cheesy.
It's funny because but it's funny though because like I feel like Chris is to an extent probably one of the earliest attempts of Capcom or like Resident Evil writers trying to do something like tragic, like truly tragic with a character, like with his backstory and
Steve
his
and
dad
his father,
and like like sort of
that
like
was Claire's first
how his life
that was Claire's first love
exactly,
interest,
but it's like exactly. I mean, like the delivery and other aspects botched it, but like the potential's there, and like I can definitely see if they do a remake of Code Veronica, Steve being the highlight. I can easily see them making Steve into the highlight of the game. Like everyone to go be like, yeah, Steve, like full on Steve redemption.
Steve has some cool moments. Steve jumps out a window in slow motion and kills a Bandersnatch by himself.
I mean, like I haven't finished Code Veronica because it's freaking hard, man.
It is hard. It's a very hard game.
But I was super surprised at like just out of nowhere Steve just kind of like Max painting through a glass window with like his double golden TMPs or something. It's like it's wild, but in the best way. It's like, well, not only is it like like it's classic RE, like except like now it actually has like moving fixed cameras and stuff and better 3D environments. But it's like it's truly where like at least in the like the mainline continuity where they started to go more into the actiony side of things before RE4.
Yeah,
when
that's true. But it also the fact that like when he shoots his father like with the machine guns, like there's no way that would that wouldn't hit Claire, because he's just like unloading an entire entire machine gun clips into his dad. I'm like, how is he not hitting Claire? Just some things are a little cheesy, but I love it. That Code Veronica has the best soundtrack in the series. Not even close. That game has one of the greatest soundtrack ever made in a video game. Like it's that good. It's that opera feel because like Alexia is like, and Alexia is probably the best villain outside Wesker. Like she's such a memorable villain, and
they even like just
so much
even just seeing them like even just seeing them kind of face off against each other, even if it's like mainly in a cutscene, it's just like that's cool.
Even the cross-dressing thing aside, like the Alfred thing with like when he like releases like Alexia is such a iconic scene in the series. Like the soundtrack and the build up. She's such an awesome character. Like the build up, like the whole backstory of her being a genius and everything could be really well done in a remake, because there's so much to a character.
Yeah.
And even Wesker, like there's so much, like if you're not a Resident Evil like stan like I am, like there's a whole like Wesker report and like all the backstory to Wesker like that people don't know about, like all his connections with Birkin and everything he did when he was a scientist. And there's so much, there's hours of content. That's why I always said if I ever made a Resident Evil show, it would be about Wesker. It would be like Umbrella's like found like beginnings and stuff. And
but Seb, they did make a Resident Evil show about Wesker.
No.
I mean, Lance Reddick, rest in peace. But
it's even more painful now.
Well, that's the thing, though, right?
I know.
I don't go on a tangent, but that the problem with that show was the teenage drama bullshit mixed in, like the Umbrella stuff. But that's another.
The fact that like one of the creators of Supernatural made the show. Like when I found out, I'm like everything just kind of clicked. I'm like, oh, of course, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense why they have like.
I'm a huge Supernatural.
But like it feels like the CW-ness hasn't really worn off on him. It's like because like you've got the pop music at the end of every episode, even though it doesn't make sense because you're on Netflix. Like you're not on network television where you have like those kind of viewers. But whatever.
Now I want to say like. By the way, I binge watched the Winchesters, like the first, like it was only 14 episodes. Like CW finally learned their lesson to have less episodes in a season, and the budget.
Two Men and Lois, Winchesters, yep.
The budget was so much better. The storyline was actually really good. I was actually really impressed, like with that show. It felt like a quality show. So CW seems to be learning a little bit, not to do 25 episodes and make the budget thin and all that. Anyway. But yeah, I think there's going to be Resident Evil 5 remake. Now I don't know what happens after that because I don't think anyone wants a Resident Evil 6 remake. But
I'm good, thank you.
Resident Evil 6 like is just like out of like the main numbered titles, aside from 7 and 8, like easily the most disconnected. Like it can kind of exist on its own island. Like sure, it has story connections between all the previous games,
pointless.
But in terms of
exactly, it's got Wesker's son, so obviously it's important. Everybody.
Well, I
love Troy Baker, but
I mean, being sarcastic.
I think the idea of Jake is cool. Like, it just they did such a poor job of it. I thought it was cool, like because your interaction with Chris.
They had a zombie dinosaur, and the game still sucked. I mean, I don't know what you wanted me to tell you. Like...
No. I think Resident Evil 6 is very mid. I think the gameplay is actually fun. I think the gameplay gets a bad rap. I think the game itself is actually really fun. I just think it was too ambitious with too many people juggled in and all that stuff. Yeah. But I think the gameplay is actually really fun. Yeah. The storyline was just even for Resident Evil, it was just really stupid. But I actually
like Metal Gear levels of complicated.
But I like seeing Sherry growing up, and I like that she had powers, and I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. Jake's and Chris's like interaction.
They're gonna do with Rose now, I think.
The callbacks to. I'd say like Leon's campaign, some parts of Chris's, and like just seeing Sherry in Jake's campaign were like the best parts of Resident Evil 6. Like just the nostalgia kind of like like fan servicey elements, easily the best part. But I mean, I guess that's why, you know, I think a lot of people are looking forward to Resident Evil Death Island or whatever it's going to be called over here, because you've got literally everyone, like everybody is joined or whatever. Everyone's here. That's the Smash Bros thing. Yeah, exactly. And like all the Resident Evil characters on Alcatraz. What's not to love?
No, not to love? See, if you want to go full Resident Evil, what I would have done is had all the main characters line up on one side, and then have like zombies, lickers, tyrants, you know, like Nemesis, all charge at each other. And like Leon and Chris, just like
like the '90s X-Men intro. Yeah.
And like Leon and Chris are like doing like crazy like flips in the air, like kicking lickers in the face.
Everyone's doing crazy flips in that trailer.
Jill, Claire, like everybody's just like superhuman fighting like tyrant. Like, they should have did like instead of Thanos, it's like Nemesis, like point. Like, I don't know, it's just really cool. But anyway, I'm really excited for that movie because all those movies are really fun, even though they're over the top. Honestly, but now that since we're on the topic of Resident Evil 4, though, I want to say, watch those movies, the CGI movies. Resident Evil Damnation is a sequel to Resident Evil 4 because it has the Plagas and everything. So these people have like red eyes and like they're Ganados and everything. It adds to Resident Evil 4 because there's a whole plot after Resident Evil 4 because the Los Illuminados are still around after Resident Evil 4. They don't all just die. So,
is Damnation the one in the airport, or is that the one where like they're in the different country?
Different country. Degeneration is the one in the airport. That movie's really good too.
That's it. Yeah.
Now the third one was it something with a V.
Vendetta.
Yeah.
I've got it on my shelf here.
That movie is so batshit crazy, but I love it so much. I just can't get. I just love the scene where they're like both charging at each other and they're shooting each other like point blank, and they just keep missing, and they just go in a circle. Like that's such that's so peak Resident Evil. Even Leon, he's like fighting zombie dogs like on the highway, and then the bodies are like making cars crash. I'm like, how? Anyway, and then they cure the zombies at the end. I'm like, so the people that were eating bodies are just gonna be normal, eating flesh in their mouth, and it's just a stupid movie. But I like seeing Rebecca. I love seeing Rebecca have a comeback. Anyway,
do we still want to talk about Mercenaries? Because we've been talking for ages. Do we still want to talk about Mercenaries?
Let's actually
briefly.
Yeah, I want to
briefly. Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say about it, but we should at least talk about it.
We're really good on time, but I do want to end on Mercenaries since I think we hit on everything in the main game.
Yeah. I think we're good.
So go ahead, Dory.
Take it off. Okay, sure. Mercenaries is a lot of fun. I can't wait for them to charge us money for new DLC characters. And am I going to buy them? Absolutely, I am. Total hypocrite right here. First in line. First to complain. I am the problem. I understand. But no, seriously, lots of fun. I don't like the pay to win microtransactions garbage. I think that's pretty much always bad.
Look, I don't like that. They're not as bad in this game as in previous games.
I understand that they're not as bad. I'm just saying. I still think they suck, but yes, they're not as bad.
Yeah, it does suck.
I'm on the fence.
Absolutely,
I'm on the fence about things. I wasn't like screaming at the air like some people were. Like I know.
No, I wasn't screaming at the air either. I was just like,
I feel like a lot of the hate.
It's shitty, but I don't. But it's like I can easily ignore it.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I had mixed feelings about it.
I S-ranked enough times to get all the characters, get the hand cannon and stuff. It's fun.
Lewis is OP.
Yeah.
Because he can't get hurt by his own dynamite. So all you have to do is keep throwing dynamite, shoot it, throw dynamite, shoot it.
I didn't know that. I was so scared about getting hurt by my own dynamite. I never tried it.
You can literally just stand on the dynamite, shoot it, stand on the dynamite, shoot it, stand on the dynamite, shoot it.
Oh my god.
So he's like OP completely. And even Hunk like.
Hunk is so OP.
He breaks the necks of everybody. He even breaks the necks of like the big guys.
Hunk.
Even the chainsaw and the sisters and shit. Yeah.
I haven't played Mercenaries yet. Can you play as Tofu?
No. That's a Resident Evil 2 thing. That's a Resident Evil 2 thing.
Yeah.
I'd love it though if you could. Like Hunk's in it. Just
not. He was in the original Mercenaries too. Hunk.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same as the original. Like they didn't really change anything. It's the same animations and everything.
No, it's pretty much the same thing.
It's
just
same,
better animation, better combat, better whatever.
The same like level design, like literally the same level design.
There's only 3 levels. I find that a little disappointing. It's just kind of like I honestly just found it like a minorly
they don't have
satisfying.
Because the original had Wesker.
Yeah, they don't have Wesker, which sucks.
But then again, I don't think he was in the original GameCube one. I think that was the PS2 version that had extra.
Oh yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
I think again, I'm pretty sure like it's been at least half confirmed / assumed that like Wesker and Ada are coming to Mercenaries in
that's
separate ways,
along with separate ways.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the GameCube one.
Honestly, no, it wasn't. But yeah, like I think 3 stages, 4 characters. There's no difficulties. There's no like sort of modifiers you can do. Like all there is really is just score chasing, which on its own is fine. And like it's like I've played already just like a couple hours of Mercenaries alone, just over and over again.
It needs to be a game, honestly. I mean, it was on the 3DS.
I mean, you've got the 3DS, yeah.
But honestly, it should be one of those like Time Crisis arcade games.
They really should.
Well, they should just do that for their multiplayer game. Like if they want to make a live service Resident Evil game, just do something with Mercenaries.
I totally
agree. They not do a live service game.
They should just let us. They should just let us do co-op like Mercenaries. Yeah.
Oh, that's why I'm excited for Resident Evil 5 is the co-op.
Yeah,
but like make like if you got a live service game, make Mercenaries free to play, add co-op, and then just charge for different characters and cosmetics and stuff. It's right there.
It's a good time.
It's right there. You don't have to butcher the Resident Evil gameplay formula with making it PvP and all that. Or I mean like as much as I love how they tried with what was it called, Resistance, it fell flat because the game was buggy as hell and had no support. Mm-hmm. And the economy and progression was completely fucked. But,
and just all the trailers of it made it look like crap. It just didn't look like fun.
They're gonna give us the military level with the water, and that's where we get the giant chainsaw guy with like. And if you guys ever played the original Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries,
yep.
So that one's really hard.
That one's really
my friends and I probably put like 25, 30 hours in the Mercenaries mode.
Oh, I also want to say I think it's super funny that the most OP accessory is arguably either a chicken hat or cat ears. I think that's super fucking funny and awesome.
Although, I mean, but by the point you get them, though, I think it's like you already know the game like the back of your hand anyway. So
no, I know.
It's just for fun,
I love and hate that. I love that they give you that stuff to reward you, but I also hate it because by the time you get it, it's like, what's even the point of having it? Like,
unless you want to play like 7 times. I'm just not into that right now.
I do like.
I mean, I've already beat it 6-7 times, so I can't relate. But yeah.
Yeah, I do love all the like additional customization and stuff you can do with the game though. Like I love how you have, I mean, not even just cosmetics wise, but you have different cases that give you certain perks and benefits, and then you have all the charms and stuff that give you little perks and benefits. Like it's small stuff that doesn't need to be in there, but just infinitely increases the replayability, gives like just small things like that really enrich the experience, and that's where I think RE4 thrives.
Now, did you guys use did you guys do the auto sort, or did you just like always want?
I did auto sort
all the way.
I was so glad.
I know people are so like anti auto sort. They're like, how dare you? You're ruining the game for yourself if you.
You not only played the game, you not only played yourself, but you whatever you ruined the experience of the game. Whatever that's
wasting your time. Yeah.
I actually love organizing my case so much. Resident Evil 4 that it's one of it's one of the best like inside games of a game, like just like, cause I love being organized. And they even made like this is an indie game that you can actually buy that you can actually, the whole game is just you organizing a case that looks like Resident Evil 4. It's I actually want to buy it. It's like $10 or whatever. I might get a platinum.
Exactly.
That's for that's for people that love being organized. Anyway,
you should play Unpacking. That sounds right up your street.
Yeah.
I've heard about Unpacking.
Yeah, because I don't
think
my
therapist talks about it all the time.
Yeah, I don't think I'm quite there yet where I want to like sit and pressure wash something for like 5 hours. I don't know. I just can't see myself like coming home from work after a 9-hour shift and like want to like unpack things. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Or power washing.
Yeah.
People love
power
those games.
washing more so. I think
people love those games, but it's not for me.
Power washing. Yeah, I can see.
It's a different vibe. It is a different vibe.
Anyway,
Different vibe from-
I think we should probably start wrapping it up. I think we hit on pretty much everything, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do want to wrap up by getting everyone's Resident Evil remake rankings.
Okay.
Oh, well, 3's in the bottom, obviously.
Yeah.
No, 2's at the bottom.
No,
Really?
You're crazy.
I didn't like. I thought 2 was good. I thought 2 was
We
good.
ended
I
on
think
such
it
a
was
strong.
good
We
game.
ended on such a good note, and then you got to ruin it.
I'm sorry. Look, James didn't have to fucking ask the question now, did he? No one asked James to ask the fucking question. I'm sorry. I thought the zombies were overly spongy. I didn't enjoy the story as much as I did in the other games. I'm sorry.
Wow.
But I still think it's a good game.
Sorry.
I don't
Here's
think it's
the
a bad
correct-
game, y'all. This is like
here's the
relative
correct
greatness
ranking.
here. It's relative greatness.
What's the Padme thing? You're breaking my heart.
That's fine. Whatever.
Going down a path.
You're going if I can't follow.
Get
Some glasses, bitch.
Liar.
So the correct ranking is
Of
Resident
course.
Evil 2,
Of course.
Resident Evil
Here we go.
4,
Mm.
and then
Mhm.
all the way down here.
Yep. Couldn't have a
Resident Evil
fucking
2.
conversation.
No,
about this
I
without
think
that.
I have 4 over 2. Now that I think about it.
I
do
also
too,
have 4 over 2.
Which
And
surprises
over
the
3.
hell out of
by
me
the way.
because I do not like the original RE4 as much as other people. Like I still think it's a 7 out of 10. I do not like.
Whoa,
do
Resident Evil
not
4 is a 7 out of 10.
like as. I'm talking about the original.
What?
I know.
Dory, I'm sorry. Like
I-
you're forgiven.
It's like,
Yes.
it's me, like, I treated you harshly. I treated you too harshly. Perhaps.
I mean, it's bad enough you're already here, so we're only gonna get like
Granted.
we're only gonna get like 10 views, but now you're ruining it. And then you say that bullshit.
To be fair,
it's the VR ad, so watch
you didn't
time's
play
fine.
it. You didn't play it when it came out, did you, Mitch?
I was gonna say no. I
No,
literally
he's like
only played
15, so
it 2 years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah, you want to live.
Mitch was
No,
like
I'm-
5 or 2 or whatever. when
I'm
it came
14 and a half, dude. Get
With a
real.
full beard.
Get it right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
out.
No.
Has anyone seen the Benchwarmers? That movie is like just
Yeah.
the
I
30-year-old
am
dude
12.
just gives like piece of paper. It's like I am 12.
Yeah, I always quote that. Because I do have some students that are like 6'3", and I was like, "Are you sure you're in 6th grade?"
Oh Jesus.
You know, the fun thing about my ranking, which goes 4, 3, 2, by the way, is that from my perspective, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Anyway, I'm sorry. The remakes have only gotten better. So there you go. See, that's the bright side of my ranking system.
Right.
Is,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But,
watching Boulders can only be even better.
To me, it's like
guess.
literally like up, down, up. So like it's like an
Yeah.
N. It's like
It's like a
line.
roller
I'm
coaster.
like ups and downs,
But-
ups and downs, up. That's up.
But I'm not. Like I said, Resident Evil 3 was just very disappointing to me in comparison to the 2, but it was still a good game. I didn't hate it or
Yeah.
anything. I thought it was like solid. I actually really enjoyed my first playthrough. I really enjoyed it because I love cinematic, like linear games. I don't mind that. But like after that though, I was like, yeah, it doesn't have a lot of substance to it. Like
Yeah,
think-
it doesn't.
but two,
I think it's an 8
either
out of 10, and that's
but
it.
2 is way better than
In-
3 in my opinion.
I forget if
much.
it ended up in the final review or not, but like
It's really a 3.5 versus a 4. I
like
make the difference between 2 and 3 seem so large. It's really
Yeah,
a 3.5
exactly.
versus a 4.
I think.
So.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think in my original view for
I
4.
also
for
found
3,
Mr. I
said
found
it's
Nemesis. I found Nemesis way more of an interesting antagonist than Mr. X. I know that's a hot take, but I did not like Mr. X very much.
I thought
found him-
Nemesis
I mean,
was
interesting.
so disappointing.
I found
mean-
Mr. X very annoying and
He was
more
Yeah.
more troublesome than he was scary.
Have you guys?
Also, get the fedora shit out of here.
Have any of you played Resident Evil 3 the original?
Yes, I played the original.
No.
Nemesis is
Not yet.
such an intimidating force in the original, and then
He
the
really
remake,
is.
Remake, he's so scripted, and
I
it
agree.
ruins it.
He is quite a bit neutered compared
The
to
thing is,
the
right,
original.
He jumps through windows and shit, and it's like, where was that in the remake?
Yeah. He was pulling like
Yeah.
Leon S. Kennedy before Leon S. Kennedy was.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love. By the way, the achievement for getting like S+ rank is like Leon S+ Kennedy. Love that
Yes.
shit. So good. So
Um,
corny and good. Anyway, James.
The thing is, it's like just to be clear, Resident Evil 4, while being below 2 for me, is very close. Like it's very close.
I don't have.
But the thing Resident Evil 2 has over 4 for me is just like two things. One is scarier, and two, it's it's the genesis of this it was the first it's the most novel because it has the benefit of being the first one.
The atmosphere is way better. Like the atmosphere of 2 was so memorable. Like 4 has amazing atmosphere too, but I think 2 that was the main focus of it. I don't know, they're just very different games, really. I mean, the animation's very similar. Like the way they run and everything, you can tell they just copied off 2's movement and everything. It's more fluid, but you can tell the way he runs. It's taken right from 2. It's the same engine.
If we're talking about like how, in terms of like, and this goes back to like what we were talking about at the very beginning of the episode. Like if we're talking about like innovation and novelty and a certain piece of atmosphere, Resident Evil 2 absolutely has it in spades. But I think for me, the thing that like sort of keeps Resident Evil 4 either above or even just on par with 2 is the gameplay. They took the already winning formula that they had with the 2 and 3 remake, but then they looked to like kind of like some other inspirations. Like you got bits of The Last of Us in there, you got bits of The Evil Within in there, like bits of like sort of other modern survival horror titles, and they've incorporated it into Resident Evil, but they've done it super freaking well. Like it's and like at the end of the day, like I'm not always a gameplay is king type of person, but like in this sense, it's like because the big defining thing with me and Resident Evil games and like sort of the quality it is whether or not I want to just immediately go back and replay it. Like Resident Evil 2, I immediately went back and replayed it. Even if it was on Claire's story, I still went back and played it immediately because like even if it's like almost the same game beat for beat, I still went directly back. And I did the same for Resident Evil 4. I didn't do the same for Resident Evil 3 or even Village, though. Like 3 and Village, I was like, okay, I'm comfortable leaving this for, a few days or a week before I start my second
3
playthrough.
I did.
But with these 2, I'm just getting right back into it because I want to experience that again. And like that's often the sign of a good game is like if I want to go back and experience it again.
Yeah.
Then unless we're talking like like The Last of Us Part 2 where it's like just leaves me emotionally
it's interesting that you say that specifically with these games though, because Resident Evil 2 has been the only one that I've replayed immediately. I'm not gonna replay Resident Evil 4 yet.
I replayed Resident Evil 2 Remake. I beat it 15 times on 3 platforms.
I played RE2 once, RE3 also once, and I played RE4 7 times now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna speedrun it. So I'm gonna probably get way higher than that.
I beat Resident Evil 2 Remake 15 times, Resident Evil 3 Remake 10 times, and Resident Evil 4 3 times. So Resident Evil Village I beat once, and Resident Evil 7 I beat twice. I don't find 7 and 8 to be replayable for me. I don't like stealth horror game kind of.
I think I've replayed. I mean, like here's the funny thing. Where is it? Resident Evil 4. My playtime on PlayStation right now for Resident Evil 4 says 41 hours. And the game came out like what? Just over 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, mine's about.
Whereas for Resident Evil Village, which came out like nearly 2 years ago and had like DLC and everything, I only have 50 hours in.
Only 50 or 15?
Only 50. 50.
Oh, 50. That's a lot. That's a lot for a Resident Evil game.
I mean, it's still a lot, but like just in comparison, like we're talking like a game that came out nearly 2 years ago versus one that came out 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
But yeah, like.
But going back to the rankings, if you ask me what my favorite Resident Evil games are of all time, it's Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 2. So, ironically, now it's like Resident Evil 4 Remake and Resident Evil 2 Remake are like right there. And I think Resident Evil 4 has always been above Resident Evil 2 for me, even though I think both are extremely iconic and amazing. Is that Resident Evil 4 just just has more memorable moments and like that's really what it is. I just like the action. I just like that action style more than like the typical survival horror of like walking down.
I want to restate what I said at the beginning. This is my game of the year right now. This is probably one of my goats in general. And I will be hard pressed for this to get topped. I mean, it'll either be Spider-Man 2 or Final Fantasy 16. I can't see anything else being Resident Evil 4 Remake. It is just really an incredible achievement of Capcom,
Yeah.
who have, by the way, been fucking smashing it with these remakes. I mean, I know they're big
games really in their own ways,
but the whole thing has been really. I have my gripes with RE2, but honestly, the whole thing has been excellent, and it has given so many more people an opportunity to get into a series that they might not have been able to otherwise. So, my figurative hats off to Capcom, because this has been an incredible run.
I think Capcom learned from Resident Evil 3 Remake what not to do, because I think they forced a multiplayer there that shouldn't have been there. And I think Resident Evil 4, they gave the time and commitment that
they clearly put all the resources into this and tried as hard as they could to make it good, and it worked. I think this is masterful.
I was shocked at how much they kept in, because like even with RE2, which compared to like RE3,
it's longer.
Is super. None of these are longer, but it's super faithful.
Yeah.
But with RE4 remake, like we were expecting them to like swap and change and cut a few things, which I mean, a lot of things, they did, honestly. But we were expecting like a lot of things, but like beat for beat, it's almost in some ways the same game as the original, basically. Like and like I mean, I think a lot of people would say that the changes that they did make are at least in some way a net benefit.
Is it
had its own merits.
It's the definitive version now. I can say that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I never I always wanted to speedrun the original, but because of the clunky movement and certain sections in the game that I didn't like, I never did it. This, I've already started speedrunning it, and I can't wait to speedrun it some more. It's just a terrific game.
I'm surprised you've like done it 6-7 times. Like I'm barely halfway through my fourth. Like how have you? I'm shocked that you've especially since your first playthrough was like 20 hours.
Yeah, it was 22 hours, I think. Yeah.
It blows me away you've done that many already, which is like a really
I also
good
wanted
sign.
to point out, that I beat Seb's time in S ranking for professional. I just want to put that out there.
Well, I was on Twitter and stuff. I was
new number one Resident Evil.
I wasn't even
go.
But the weird thing though, like for me, is that like Resident Evil 4 to me is better than Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Resident Evil 2 Remake was my game of the year. But I can. This year is so stacked that like it's very possible Resident Evil 4 Remake is not even in my top 3, because I don't know how good the future games are going to be.
Yeah, because you guys Spider-Man 2 and
because you got Spider-Man and Zelda and Diablo and Star Wars and
Zelda
and Baldur's Gate 3, Baldur's Gate 3 and all that. So it's like
Baldur's Gate 3 could be great.
So I'm not saying Resident Evil 4 is going to fall out of my top 5, but it's like this year is so stacked that the game that I think is better than Resident Evil 2 Remake it might not even be in my top 5. I don't know. As of right now, it's my game of the year. It's
same.
So, but like I told you, there's like 6 games on my list that are 9.5s, and this game is a 9.5. So it's almost a 10. I mean, I have some nitpicks, but it's almost a 10. So
it's pretty much a 10 for me.
It's near perfect. I mean, it's actually is it better than the original? I don't even think I can answer that, because it's a different era and a different. Like, obviously, the modern game's probably gonna be better. I don't know. It's really hard to say. It's like saying is Metal Gear Solid still good? Have you played like PS1 Metal Gear Solid? Does it hold up? I don't. You just can't judge games that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just really hard. So I can't say it's better, but yeah. So we all agree. I think all of us pretty much have it as our game of the year right now. I would think.
Yes, but I've only played 3 games this year so far. So.
I've only played 5 2023 games, so yes.
I played
Warlong and Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I still need to play Dead Space. So.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, Metroid are my top 3.
For me, it goes RE4 Make, Hi-Fi Rush, from 1 to 5. RE4 Make, Hi-Fi Rush, Atomic Heart, Ishin, Metroid Prime. So that's me.
I have not collated a list yet.
I don't know.
Yeah, RE4 is at the top.
I would Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, Metroid, Hogwarts Legacy, Hi-Fi Rush, and then
I wasn't gonna make a list until June, but fuck it, whatever.
Yeah,
I played 5 games at this point, so
what am I missing? I'm missing another one. Oh shit.
Ishin? Atomic Heart?
No, I don't like Atomic Heart. Ishin.
Right.
Ishin's gonna. I don't think Ishin's gonna make my top 10, just because it's so. Okay, I actually like it, but I don't think it's a good top 10 game.
Did you already say Metroid Prime and I missed it?
Yeah, I already said Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
That game is a masterpiece. Anyway.
I have no idea.
So let's so I think that's it.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
We actually did a great job hitting our target. So
12 minutes past, but who's counting?
No, we're only a minute past. So
It's in terms of time, yeah.
Yeah, next episode we're gonna hit on Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I believe.
And yeah, because it 2 weeks. So
and Dead Island. Is anyone getting Dead Island too?
I'm not.
I'm most likely.
I'm leaning on it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for reviews. Yeah.
Yeah. If it gets in the 80s, I'll get it.
I mean, like I think if it like gets average 7s out of 10s, I'm fine with it because that's just like that's what I'm expecting or looking for in the game.
Sure.
You know, like something fun to just sort of run around, kill zombies in. Yeah, like because I just went back and beat Dead Island Riptide. A couple days ago,
I think
just to get beat the games before Dead Island 2 came out, and then I watched a video today yesterday where it's like, oh yeah, no, doesn't matter. The story doesn't matter.
I think if
like, oh god damn it.
I think if it wasn't so close to Star Wars, I'd probably pull the trigger. But if the game is like a 7, I can just wait for a sale in the summer, I guess.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, like luckily enough, they're not charging it for like the $70 price. At the moment, like they're selling it at a lower price, which definitely gives it more appeal.
Although I'm kind of in a lull. I'm kind of like in this like I just haven't been in the mood for games lately, so I haven't.
Yeah.
When Star Wars comes out, I'll snap back into it.
I remember I had a period last year like that, but I feel like especially with Resident Evil 4 remake and Dead Space remake, I'm all in at the moment. Like it's a stacked month for games.
Oh yeah, I mean
stacked month.
Yeah. I mean, you got the platinum in Dead Space. I did. I just get tired of multiple playthroughs. So anyway, all right. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Really fun episode.
All right, that was good.
All right, you all have a good night.
Good job, everybody.
Take care,
we did
guys.
it.
Peace.
Pats on backs. Pats on.